Hello and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 26th of February 2017. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Nice.
A squeaky door.
Yeah, a very squeaky door. Good job.
And Robert Kemp.
Rad.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no, you're not having radiations.
No, I'm free from rads. Well,
Excellent.
Nobody's free.
No, exactly.
Everyone's a little bit
Background
rad.
rads. Yeah.
Slightly rad.
Been eating too many bananas. Or not enough. I heard you have to eat 10 a day or something. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw that news story as well.
What, to get radioactive?
No.
No, 10 fruit, veg, or whatever. You know.
Is that how you become? Is this how you become Banana Man?
They've upgraded it from 5 a day to 10 a day now.
Oh, I'm still nowhere near.
Yeah, I'm
my
like
5.
1 a day
Yeah.
at best.
5 different types of meat a day. I might.
Yeah,
I might have.
You're probably more than you think, depending on
No.
what. No.
Pretty sure that's not the case.
Well, they say Dr Pepper's a fruit drink. So.
That does not count.
I'm sure most meals have one in them somewhere.
Maybe. But
And that's about it. That's about all I get a day.
Right.
Curry. Yeah, I suppose you have a curry. There's probably a bit of onion and a bit of pepper in there, maybe.
Yeah, but
and
does
that's
that
about
bit
it.
count as one? I don't think it does. Because the portion
mean?
that counts as a one of your number a day is actually it's quite a significant portion usually, isn't it?
Right, yeah, I guess.
But then they also say, like, you know, some of those like juice bottles of juice drink you can get, like, that's 1 of your 5.
Yeah, one. If
Yeah.
you drink a whole glassful.
You're not supposed
That's
to
mostly
drink
sugar.
juice.
Yeah.
Juice is bad for that. Don't drink, fruit juice for
still
your
going
5 a day.
Juice.
'Cause it's
I mean, you
tasty.
can, but not
but not 5 of them.
specifically in order to get up
you
to
drink
5.
squash, which is completely not even. That's
Oh,
not
no,
even
yeah.
a fruit.
Squash doesn't register, of course.
That probably
Well-
doesn't have any fruit in it.
I think drinking squash is good though, because you need to get, regardless of 5 a day, you need to get enough water. God damn it! I'm sure people don't.
Oh, I have plenty of that.
Yeah, but everyone knows that that's just a big myth when they were like 8 glasses of water a day, and it's like, no, that's not even slightly true.
No,
I
Sure.
drink way more than 8 glasses of water a day.
Or do you though?
Yeah, no, I really do.
I probably
but
drink
do you, though?
around that.
Yeah, I
But do you know?
Yeah, but like I don't know if Coke counts as a glass of water exactly.
Yeah,
You
totally. It's more than
Because-
50% water, I'm sure.
And
Loads
also
more.
the caffeine just makes you pee out a lot more.
That's
it's
true.
Like,
It's theoretic.
You're passing through a lot of water.
I guess. I suppose coffee might not actually register that well on that scale as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You might be right.
guess so. I'm really weird. I drink loads of squash at home, and then at work I don't have that much. I have coffee, but I don't have that. I don't have the urge to go and get like water all the time. It's I don't know. I guess there are like water. What they called water coolers around, but I'm not a big.
Yeah, that's
water
what I
cooler
call
person.
myself. Yeah, I'm a water cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the
I think you're a water
the image
warmer,
of
aren't you?
I
You
keep
drink
the
it.
image of water. No, I keep the image of water cool. So I'm an influencer. Water influencer.
You have a water cooler on your fridge.
That's true. I do have a water cooler.
When
on the
was
fridge.
That's
last time
true.
you used that?
Water does
Last
have an image
summer.
problem at the moment, so it needs an agent to make it seem cool. Draft in
that's
all of the
That's called
celebs to
squash.
drink water.
I just like 10 a day is like that's
Yeah, that is
dumb.
quite ridiculous.
How you you literally have to eat nothing but fruit and vegetables.
What was it even based on? Like people must have been like, are they trying to say they took someone who just eats nothing but apples versus someone who likes a pizza or two, and we're just like, yeah, the apples are clearly better. But it's like, well, no kidding. Just he's considerably more boring in my eyes, Apple Man.
Clearly, pizza counts as one though because it's got tomatoes. And if you're eating a whole large pizza, that probably is an entire portion of
Probably
tomatoes.
right. Yeah, it's probably got to be a one of something, a one of death.
Yeah,
But-
it's like one tomato, but there's like 5 anti-tomatoes. Essentially.
Yeah, does it work like that? Does this veg scheme work as negatives? Like if I ate a Cumberland sausage, is that taken away 2 turnips?
I'm not sure meat exactly by itself counts as like an anti thing. I think it's other shit.
Gravy.
Yeah, probably.
Or is it the mashed potato?
Well, that's a vegetable.
It's not a vegetable. Not in that sense of vegetable. It's a vegetable, but it's not a 5-a-day vegetable, 10-a-day vegetable.
Could be.
Or if they just made the portions smaller and then said that like
maybe they're just trying to say you need more variety, the same quantity.
Yeah,
I didn't actually look at the news story, so I don't know.
That seems plausible.
But even then, like
eat an entire lettuce.
Getting five a day was inconvenient, not necessarily because it's annoying to eat fruit and vegetable, as in taste wise. Like, fruit is quite nice. I could manage to eat fruit 5 times a day, I'm sure. The inconvenience is having to have fruit available for a week between your shopping trips or whatever. Like, fruit doesn't last that long.
No, and I also
that's the problem.
I also actually find a lot of fruit annoying. Right.
Well, and the inconvenience.
The
actual mechanism of eating.
Yeah.
Something where it's like, I have to cut this up or take out pips or.
Well, I don't mind apples, right? But the skin always ends up jammed in between my teeth. So I actually
You're eating it wrong.
Well, maybe, but I actively dislike oranges. Like I'll drink orange juice and stuff like that, but an actual orange, and also peeling that seems like a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
you basically need a knife to peel an orange, and even then, it's really annoying.
And it's not that tasty.
Yeah, it's not that. There's that whole Idiazard routine about trying to get into Stalinist oranges and how it's like the film Das Boot inside there. Come on, push the pips into the places where he's going to eat.
You dip the oranges directly into sugar. That's how you make oranges good. I used to do that a lot.
I don't think that's good for you, though. Get your 5 a day of sugar alongside your.
Well, 1 of the 5. It's not like I ate oranges constantly.
I mean, I'll eat raisins, but they're not even that good for you. They have nutrients in them, but they're also quite sugary.
Well, I don't know, because eating a bunch of raisins is just like eating a bunch of grapes, except with less water. Technically.
And I also can't leave them hanging about because cats aren't supposed to eat raisins.
I'm not sure you'd just be leaving raisins in places where your cat would eat them, really.
Well,
you'd either be eating them or they'd be in a cupboard. You're just leaving bags of raisins open about the place.
I have done, in fairness, before I realised that cats weren't supposed to eat them.
Cats aren't supposed to eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
But pizzas, that happens.
I think they quite like them is the problem. I think they quite like raisins. And so that's the tricky part. She's fine.
Stupid animals eating shit that kills them.
Yeah.
Not like us, we're just eating pizzas. That's totally not killing us.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
That is enriching me in every way. I feel cheese.
You feel cheese rich?
I am most definitely rich in cheese.
In more ways than one.
There's 4 different cheese wheels in my fridge right now. Mini cheese wheels, not like full ass wheels.
It's not like Skyrim in here.
No. That's a pretty decent segue.
Not really.
Into the world.
There's no news about Skyrim at the moment.
Pulled that out of nowhere.
It's a video game. That's your entire segue. And I think that in reality, you could segue from practically anything to a video game that includes that thing.
Yeah, cheese wheel. What other games have a cheese wheel in them?
Quite a few, I would imagine.
Probably mouse-based 80s platformers.
Enter the Gungeon. There's cheese wheels on the tables.
And so cheese wheel. Oh, okay, yeah. That's sort of like just decorative cheese wheel.
Can you not make cheese wheels in the Settlers or something?
I don't think cheese has ever been a resource in Settlers.
Damn it.
Damn it.
That seems like an obvious one.
Well, not really, though, because that's like a tier 3 resource.
Yeah, that would be
you
tier
have
3.
already have livestock, and then you have to process the milk.
Yeah. Be perfect.
Settlers didn't really do that, though. It's like food was generic in Settlers, more or less.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, like, you fed it to the miners, and they didn't care whether it was a fish or a bread or a meat.
Norse power.
No, that's Black and White.
No, but
that was just grain.
Yeah, that was just grain. They had a great diet.
So boring.
One of your favourite day.
It's my abiding memory of Black and White isn't playing with the creature. It's just repeatedly casting Norse power on top of my grain store.
Pretty much.
Just pour that shit in there.
Pouring shit out of your hands. Oh, what a stupid game.
Norse power.
Japanese power. I was listening to, speaking of stupid video game phrases or
Yeah.
what would you call those little snippets? For some reason, I was on YouTube yesterday looking at all the unit sounds from Command and Conquer Generals.
Okay.
The
I don't know
technicals
why.
and stuff.
Yeah, the
Nice.
technicals and stuff, and like the Chinese dozer, like China will grow larger, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like everything
Yeah.
there was like borderline racist, but quite
As
good.
always.
We build for China.
I build for China. It's like, yes, that was awesome.
Well, they were all racist. Even like,
Yeah, the American
the-
one. Yeah,
the American one was racist as well. And
they
then
were like
you had
cowboys.
the GLA, who were just like Arabs, essentially.
Yeah, they had super Arabic accents and stuff, and we're just like, what they into? Like poisoning everyone with
Yeah,
anthrax,
they
right?
were terrorists,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I mean the
All units
GLA.
based on terrorism.
The thing is, the GLA was a really stupid,
Well, I'm not.
amalgamation of stereotypes and stuff. But I mean, it's not that far from what ISIS is, it really?
I guess not. But also, you wouldn't really want, like, I don't know, your terrorist. Would it feel right if your terrorist organisation was walking and go, "Well, mate, I'm well in anthrax." Just, I
Well-
love this stuff. I love seeing what it does to people, Matt. It's mint.
Yeah, I know.
You
It'd
can't
be like going up against the army of Essex, just like a well-armed Essex. This is where we're taking them down with ream tanks.
Yeah, but the trouble is, like, the whole idea of this video game based loosely in a real world theme is
Yeah.
like you have to apply some amount of stereotypes.
Yeah, I guess.
Like if it's not Arab terrorists,
I'm not-
it'd be Irish terrorists.
It's not that I-
Something.
Don't like it. I just like just surprised they could get away with it so well. Whatever.
Like how all snipers are Australian.
Yeah, clearly.
Thanks, Team Fortress.
That's totally a thing.
Sniping's a good job, mate. Steady work. Guarantee you won't go hungry. Anyway,
Yeah, well,
I think I thought of Generals because I'd seen that Halo Wars 2 had come out and stuff. I was looking at it and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that looks fine, but it doesn't look any better really than Generals. And that was like 10,
Yeah,
longer than that. It was like 2003. It was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, you're probably right. But then I'm not entirely sure the RTS genre in general has really moved.
No, I don't
Like
know.
I guess was it what was the World War II one that Sega
Company
now
of
owns?
Heroes.
Yeah, I guess that was the last time I sort of saw, and that and Dawn of War, I suppose.
Yeah,
The last
same
time I
guys,
really
wasn't it? Relic.
Oh no, sorry. Of course I'm forgetting. World in Conflict.
Yeah.
That was the last time I picked up an RTS and thought,
Mm.
yeah, you know what, this feels a bit fresh. This is
Yeah, because that was like the evolution of ground control, wasn't it?
mm,
Yeah,
yeah, and
it
World
was
of
really
Conflict.
good.
World of Conflict looked pretty good as well for the time.
Yeah, yeah. It
that's
was
true.
amazing. Yeah, it was one of the early DX10 games.
And
So
you
it
could
was-
zoom right in and hear
Yeah.
your infantry dudes talking to each other in buildings.
I remember
If you
that.
ever were looking that close at the battlefield.
Well, its stress test was actually quite a decent test for quite a while.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
benchmark. Test those particles.
Mm, and yeah, and the nuke. Test that nuke. Because they've made that nuke out of lots of little bits of flame.
You don't want to listen to the unit sound effects of Generals as much as you want to listen to the unit sound effects of Red Alert 2.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
how good shit
yeah.
is.
I mean, they were just absolute because they had that like comic element to them. The Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 was so weird and awesome.
Yeah.
Like what? How
I'm
did
wondering
they
if we
do
should
that?
go back and actually try and play Red Alert 3.
No,
No,
No.
probably
it
not.
won't be as
just no.
good. It'd be a pale shadow of Red Alert 2, I reckon.
Well, at least I have Jeff.
And those sound effects, like the unit sound effects of Red Alert 2, in turn, like when you have the stupid expansion installed, there's even more. Like they even
Added
units
more.
that they had already had sound effects, they added even more phrases
Oh,
to,
did they?
and some of them
I
were
don't
actually
understand.
different. Where like the IFVs, where they used to be generic American sounding military dude, they got like their own unit specific call outs where they say dumb shit about changing form and stuff because that's what IFVs do.
Dawn of War 3 is still coming, isn't it? It's on the way, or did that come out?
Trying to remember. I think it did it come out. Maybe it didn't. Because I'm thinking of because there's a Creative Assembly one, isn't there? The what Total War Warhammer.
Total War
or whatever.
Warhammer.
That did come out, right? But I don't know if Dawn of War 3 did come out. I saw a lot of previews for it, so maybe it is out. Anyway, it obviously hasn't.
I know we talked about it before, but it's speaking of Massive, it's a shame Massive got basically it just became part of the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed engine. Really, the World in Conflict team are now part of the Assassin's Creed sort of nightmare.
Well, that happened immediately though, because what was the game that came out after World in Conflict, and we were like, oh, it's Massive, and they were like, how did they go from World in Conflict to this?
Yeah, I can't remember. I know what you mean. That they did put something out pretty soon after World in Conflict. It wasn't the team that Massive obviously had a big enough team to be working on multiple games, given the timescales. But yeah, it was a bit odd. I'm gonna look that up. You guys carry on.
Was it Watch Dogs?
I wouldn't have been surprised if they were involved, because, as I say, they were on Assassin's Creed.
I remember seeing the Massive logo on and being like, "What? What are they doing?"
As I say, a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, they're just listed. Oh, my phone just decided to reboot.
Well, okay then. No news for Rob.
No.
Oh, Windows Phone.
Yeah, it's doing what Windows normally does and just randomly reboots itself.
That's not what Windows normally does at all.
No, the desktops have actually got all right with that stuff. But, because there was a period where it was just it's time to update right now.
Oh, God,
That's why you turn that off. No automatic updates.
It's quite hard.
But don't do anything.
Can you turn that off completely, the automatic update? I mean, it's a bad idea to do that, but I reckon.
Yeah, and I think the number of options is actually quite irritating now. In that it's not quite as it's not quite what I want out of it in either direction. It's I kind of wanted to go ahead and prepare them and then just say install what I want you to, but no, it's sort of just it's either download and I'll install them, or you're gonna have to do the whole thing manually. And it's oh great, you can set some stuff with timing and stuff on, but I think some of that's limited to the Pro and server editions.
Right.
So yeah, the home version is a bit limited, I think. It'll just make you get it. I think they've stopped doing the peer-to-peer updates because they had that for a while.
Right.
Sort of torrented updates
between Windows
machines.
Is. Oh, weird.
I think that was originally intended. I think that annoyed a lot of people, but actually the intention was good. That it was supposed to be one system in your home, for instance, would download the update, and then it would share that update internally.
Right.
I think that was the idea, but I don't know if that became actually no, it's torrenting between users, like other people in other houses or whatever, or other locations. But I think they got rid of that, or at least they've quietly buried it somewhere. Anyway, Windows Update.
Speaking of Rob's phone rebooting and not allowing him to look at news, how about we talk about news?
News. Okay, what's going on? The Switch is nearly out. I've still got my pre-order, so I'm hoping for Friday. In the meantime, there's been some people playing it had some problems with losing sync on the left Joy-Con, apparently, when you're some distance away.
It's basically from the video that I saw. It's basically the iPhone aerial problem.
Where you're holding it.
Oh no, we didn't account for the human body.
Oh, no, is it really?
I think so.
Apparently, it's not. It's not in it doesn't really come into effect in your natural holding position, but it comes into effect if you're using motion controls and you move your other hand in front of it, or you move that hand behind you for some reason if you're doing some kind of pose. If there's any amount of human body in between the left Joy-Con and the Switch, then it starts losing it.
The Division is what you're thinking of. Massive with the leads on the Division. Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like a showstopper, but kind of annoying.
Well, I don't know. It's the reports seem quite varied on how that occurs. It's I'm sure I'd seen... Well, we were talking about him before the cast, but I'm sure I saw a tweet stream from Dan Reichert being well, I'm actually right next to the console and this thing still isn't working.
Other people were saying that it might also just be noise on the 2.4 gigahertz channel.
These things are just working over
place.
These things are just working over Wi-Fi.
Supposedly,
that's weird. You think they'd I don't know, use Bluetooth maybe. Well, because the Wii always
thought they did use
the previous
Bluetooth.
consoles always used to use Bluetooth, apart from the Wii U gamepad, which has its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're using. When we looked at the blueprints, did that say Bluetooth in there? It did, didn't it?
I'd imagine so.
The technical specs. When we were looking at patents, I think it said Bluetooth.
Well, as I say, Nintendo stuff from the Wii upwards has always used Bluetooth, and Sony are obviously big into their Bluetooth. It's only been Microsoft that decided to go weird.
Speaking of weird Microsoft, just as a random segue, also slightly related. I was looking on Amazon I was buying some stuff on Amazon, and I briefly looked at the Switch page, and there doesn't seem to be any queue or stock limitation. They haven't specifically said you might not get this. It's if you pre-order it, apparently you're still going to get it at launch of Amazon.
Yeah, currently.
I don't know. I doubt that.
There have been times where when I was looking at the pre-order page, it would go on and off whether you could pre-order it, and so some days you could, and some days you couldn't. And then and then it was going to be late when I originally pre-ordered it, and then they sent me an email saying, "Good news, it'll all be on time." And I haven't heard anything since. So
yeah, so when I looked at that, it's still claimed.
Well, do you think that actually? Let's flip this around a bit. Do you think that there is mainstream hype for the Switch? Has that information filtered into the casual gamers?
I don't think there's that much hype just because of the games. There's just not really any.
I mean, you got to be Zelda, and that's it, right?
Zelda is the one thing, and that's quite a hardcore game, really, relatively speaking.
It
maybe
is.
Snipper clips.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to quite a few people who haven't heard of it, at work and stuff. So I don't know. So, but I mean, I can't remember what happened with the original Wii when that obviously took off. But did that have hype before it launched? I guess it did. But I mean, from general people, or from was it just?
It's a good question. I don't know. Was it still in the age when people weren't burnt out on Nintendo? I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Because they were coming off the GameCube, and the GameCube hadn't exactly set the world on fire, but the Game Boy Advance, I guess, was still doing gangbusters. Well, yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. Don't know if it's better or worse. But maybe Nintendo are relying on that, right? That's why they haven't got such a ridiculous launch lineup. It's we can just put this thing out, and then it will gain momentum, and then by the time people actually buy it at the end of the year for Crimbo, then
I think it's smart.
We'll have Mario, and that'll be all you need.
Mario. And you'll be able to buy Zelda and Mario Kart as well at that point at Christmas. It'll be pretty strong for a Christmas proposition.
It's Nintendo's normal launch window, isn't it? In the EU, at least, is this sort of time. I remember when the Wii launched, it was about March-ish, the original, and you couldn't get hold of one for friggin' ages.
Well, that was kind of why the Wii succeeded by accident, where it's you couldn't get one until Christmas, and then everyone bought one, and even then you couldn't get them at Christmas.
But then what did Wii launch with? Wii's launch lineup wasn't great either.
Well, it had freaking Wii Sports. That's all you need, didn't it?
Yeah,
that was the trick.
I guess
that was the trick. They should have put 1-2 Switch into that thing. I mean, but I don't.
Yeah, but 1-2 Switch isn't even such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's that's barely a video game.
The non-screen game is it's a strange thing. But you're right.
Well, apparently it's not all like that. Did you see the quick look from Giant Bomb?
No.
So it's not all don't look at the screen. The first game they played was kind of cool. It was a treasure chest that was wrapped up in a chain, and so you had to look at the screen and you had to manipulate the Joy-Con as if you were turning the treasure chest around and unwrap the chain to get to what was inside it. So you obviously had to look at the screen. Right. That was kind of cool. So and it's a bunch of things, and the HD rumble and stuff. I probably won't get it. Won't ever. Well, I probably will play it because someone will be insane enough to spend however much it is that I know. Is it 40-50 quid or something for a set of minigames? I would be surprised.
I think it's full price.
I'm very unlikely to get it myself, but I'm sure some people will, and I'll get to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not.
But they should have packed that in. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. You need a reason for You need to. It's one of those games that absolutely seems to be setting out to be like, this is why we put all this stuff in our controllers. It's like so you can do stuff like this. It's like a justification of your machine.
Yeah, kind of. But it's worth kind of showing
charge
off.
people for that.
No, I don't think you should.
But then there's a lot of outlets have been saying that Nintendo Land was the pack-in for Wii U, and it's like, no. Only certain bundles had Nintendo Land in it, and it wasn't in every bundle at launch, and it's like that wasn't a pack-in, and that might have been the exact same problem. That was here's why you need the gamepad, and they didn't even do it then. Although Nintendo Land again, like, wasn't Wii Sports, right? So it's.
Well, the thing is that they've been like the amount of focus has been like degrading over time. Because Wii Sports, it was like literally the sports, and they were represented in a simplish way, but they were represented. But then like those weren't really mini games. I mean, they were, but they were games.
It was as far as you could have pushed those sports, I guess.
Yeah. But then,
with the possible exception of golf could have done with some.
I guess. But then, like, when you get to Nintendo Land, it's like now they're starting to look more like mini games, and now you've got 1, 2, 3, where they are mini games. It's like that's not actually as appealing.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot
as a display of your technology. You need to have a little bit more substance to it.
And maybe that's actually the trick in a way that Wii Sports is mainstream because of the word sports, right? Everyone knows those things.
Maybe.
Like, I know that's weak, but like people look at sort of like, you could look at bowling and be like, oh, I know what that is.
No, I think it definitely has more appeal than 1-2 Switch, I would say, like off the bat.
You look at those games and everyone's like, what is this? Or, again, go back to Nintendo Land and you look what was in that thing and it's like, I'm throwing ninja stars using a tablet. It's like somehow that's not quite as immediately obvious as I'm bowling.
I'm bowling, or I can play golf.
Or I'm baseballing.
But it's because it's a mini game. It's just like there's no like obvious structure like there is in a sport.
Yeah.
It's like bowling. It's like you know how the scoring, and you play a certain number of things, and you do it a certain number of times. And the same with golf and tennis, and basically every sport ever.
But yeah,
whereas in mini games, it's just like I do this thing for a minute, and then. That's it.
Well, yeah, but I just mean that even mechanically, it's like you already know what you're doing, don't you? In Wii Sports, it's like you already know what you have to do because sports, and the rest of them are never going to capture that. So pack them in. In a weird way, Wii Sports probably didn't have to be the pack-in, right? Look, like I think of it, it should have been the other way. Wii Sports had appeal because of what it was.
Yeah,
it's like Nintendo Land and 1-2 Switch. Don't have that,
no.
So they should throw them in as like here's
here's the display of the technology, through literal displays of the technology rather than here's a game we made,
exactly,
or like what Wii Sports was.
Yeah, I think they're playing it all backwards, but it sort of worked for them before, but it doesn't now, and they haven't learned.
I mean, really, surely the logical solution to making a game that is also your pack-in / launch title / display of technology, that's what they should use Mario Party for.
Maybe.
Because that's basically what it is. It's a whole bunch of minigames, but it's also couched in a game that everyone knows already and has a brand that people are aware of.
The problem was that Mario Party out of the box isn't very pick up and play, right? It doesn't have that we can just get into this right now quality to it.
Sort of. I mean, you could make it better in that.
Yeah,
if let the minigame island be the first thing rather than the board game.
Absolutely. I think if the minigame island was accessible from the start, and if the whole game wasn't built in such a Nintendo-like way,
well,
you know what I mean?
The general problem of Mario Party is a different.
Yeah, that's a very Nintendo thing, right? That everything just takes time. The whole bit of text here, bit of finesse here, bit of characters dicking around over here, bit of a fade out here, bit of a character intro here. Now you're finally into the game you want to play, but you've got to wait for Toad to say start, and then for the text to disappear, and then for someone to blow a whistle, and then you're finally playing the game. It's like if all of that was streamlined, yes, Mario Party, do that. But with all of that as it stands, even that doesn't work. Do you think it's a good or a bad thing that 1-2 Switch actually does, like, you know, those what we saw of it in the, you know, the people playing it? Those are actually the tutorial videos in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, is that a good or a bad thing? Are they trying to break the Nintendo-ness of it in this way?
I think it definitely has a non-me related style that's on purpose or whatever. To be a bit more kind of, it has its own weird style.
I feel like they've done something like that before. I don't remember what in.
I don't think they've ever done it with like sort of literal live action videos.
Well, maybe not literal videos, but something with a similar sort of like generic, semi-realistic. I guess Wii Fit was kind of like that in some ways.
Yeah,
yeah, the white trainers.
Yeah.
Trainer bots. Yeah, maybe. I suppose other games have always used like some sort of like cartoon, or like I don't know. I'm just thinking WarioWare here with that sort of style of like, here's how you do the thing. Excuse me.
Well,
maybe they should have just made WarioWare, but then that probably doesn't quite.
Well, that's another thing where it's like not quite a game, and that's been replaced by Rhythm Heaven by now, surely, basically.
Kind of. Yeah.
I hope they do WarioWare for Switch.
Yeah, do you really though? Do you remember the one for the Wii?
Well, we never played it.
No.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh, I mean, well, I say
Case in point.
I played it once, but I didn't own it, and it seemed fine. It seemed like a WarioWare game.
Yeah, it seemed fine, and like not enough to make you care, like a WarioWare game.
I do actually have the GameCube one. Maybe we should fire that up at some point and just remind us what WarioWare's like.
No, if you want to be reminded what WarioWare's like, you need the Game Boy ones, like the GBA one.
Oh, DS one was good too. Touched was pretty good.
Yeah. That's where Rhythm Heaven succeeded, where WarioWare failed. It's like they didn't try to incorporate bullshit motion control and touchscreens. They were all just like push a button in time to a rhythm.
Yeah, that's pretty much all Rhythm Heaven is, isn't it? It's just a button,
and that's actually better as an interface for controlling a rhythm game. It's like Final Fantasy, where it's like use the touchscreen only for the thing where it's actually good for that one purpose. Every other time, use the buttons because it's way more accurate.
So what else is flying around the Switch? I sort of looked at the UI stuff is way more minimal and stylish.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I like the Nintendo, because there's been a couple of unboxings, and I like that as you go through the setup process, just little touch that like the pitch of every selection noise gets higher and higher as you get close to finishing the setup.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's like classic like Nintendo stuff. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Like,
dun, dun, dun. Apparently, the console makes the click noise when you attach the controllers to it.
I'm pretty hype, I have to say, especially now that like Zelda impressions are starting to come through, and there's sort of rumblings that it might be like Ocarina of Time level good. Now I'm like pretty excited.
I hope. I know it's not too important to a Zelda game, but I hope they sorted out their like framey issues that we talked about before.
Well, it'll probably get a bit framey in like big fights and stuff, but
sure,
yeah, but
and that's fine. You know, that's defendable for a system of its type, trying to do big boy games, I suppose. But
yeah. I mean, people have been saying that it's like, in some ways, you could look at it as like the most ambitious mobile game ever. Or, but yeah,
it's true.
Except like Skyrim is also coming out on that system.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, that kind of negates the whole idea that it's that impressive. Where it's like, actually, we bought this game from 4 years ago, and this game's still bigger, probably.
Probably.
Well, it might be maybe physically bigger, but yeah, it won't have as much stuff.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's apparently huge, Zelda, so we shall see. But it doesn't have to be. I don't need it to be as big as Skyrim.
No,
yeah,
no, anyway. I wouldn't. That would put me off it.
Well, I mean, you know, everyone is aware that the classic problem of Skyrim is the classic problem of all those open world games, where it's just like at a certain point you're fighting zombies in the tomb.
Yeah, oh yeah, that, yeah. But I just mean like the overworld or whatever. Even like anyway.
Well, I don't know. Do overworlds really count for that much?
Probably not. But they do. That's the thing. They do. That's what supposedly sets Breath of the Wild apart. Is that the overworld does matter in a way. It is cool in a way that it isn't in other basically barren games.
But then that's a Zelda thing, isn't it?
It is, but they haven't been truly open world, though, have they? In the Skyrim-y way before. So,
well, weirdly, I'm sort of thinking actually, if you think of Link to the Past and and the link between worlds, those are actually kind of similar to the Breath of the Wild model. It's just that they've really made the hub world a lot bigger. In Breath of the Wild, there's still apparently stuff to do in the hub world in those games.
There definitely is,
and there's dungeons to go into where you do other important stuff.
Yeah, totally.
That's the same. So
So what I've heard is the sort of gating, the kind of Metroid or whatever classic Zelda thing from, from like A Link to the Past or whatever, where you need the item or whatever. That's much reduced, and it's much more like the original Zelda game, where you can pretty much go nearly anywhere except you're going to get your ass kicked, which is kind of cool. So apparently you get most of the key abilities really early, and then
that might not be a good thing.
I mean, it can cause pacing problems, but it'll be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. But I think it's, one mechanic that might get annoying, and you definitely going to have to get used to, is the weapons breaking all the time. I think that could get annoying, but I'll have to see. Obviously, I will come back with impressions next week, next podcast after I've actually played it. Yeah,
it depends how plentiful replacements are. And
I think you can get stuff. It's whether or not you can get good stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
and good stuff breaks.
Is there a way to get good stuff that isn't just random?
Like a repeatable way.
Yeah, or crafting, I guess.
Or does that level up over time? I think there is. If the world auto levels to you, does the gear that things...
I don't think it does. I don't think it is like Skyrim. I don't think there is auto leveling. I think you just get your ass kicked.
Daggers.
Dagger. There's no leveling.
Well, there definitely won't be a level or an XP bar, because
I don't know. There might be.
You reckon?
Maybe not for crafting. There might be. They might change the way you maybe get magic bar, I suppose. I guess that's really the only thing that levels up in Zelda.
We'll see. There's pieces of heart,
and heart,
yeah, but pieces of heart is a physical item. That's always
so. So anyway,
they've already said there'll be armor things and armor variants as well to find, but that was always a thing as well, and presumably there's lots of shields and all this stuff to muck around with. But I wonder if you can carry the other Zelda thing is you're always just carrying all your stuff normally, right? It's is that a thing now?
Well, there's stuff about clothes and stuff where I don't know if you have to get clothes, and you have to get warm clothes for cold areas, or you take damage and stuff like that.
Sorry, that's what I meant by armor. Sorry, they talk about clothes, not
I don't know if armor breaks or I'll find out anyway. We'll get to that next time. But the Switch in general, I'm pretty hype. And I've seen some unboxings where they place the Switch hardware next to the Wii U gamepad, and it's that thing looks like such a Fisher-Price pile of crap in comparison.
It's just got a lot of bezel that the Switch doesn't have.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But there's just something that toy-like about the Wii U thing.
It's the gloss.
Yeah,
it's 100% the gloss.
They've got rid of the gloss, so now it's matte.
Digital Foundry picked up on that specifically, where it's just the matte finish is what makes this feel more adult.
Yeah,
in a weird way, they were there's gloss finishes look great when you first get them out of the box, and then sort of don't.
So yeah.
You don't
Zeg,
when you're outside, what's shine on it?
Yeah.
What's your plan, Zeg? When do you think you'll
I don't know. Now with the fact that the pre-orders don't seem to be limited, maybe I will end up getting it much closer to launch than I thought about.
Yeah.
See, I'm quite hesitant because the problem is I'm in the awkward middle spot where actually this year I might have a need to buy one of 3 consoles or all 3, because it's I don't know, PS4. This seems like a good time to start thinking about that.
Yeah.
With Horizon having just come out, and I was sort of weirdly thinking about playing Neo of all things, and it's it's a Dark Souls game, but Japanese style, or more Japanese style, and it's
even more.
And it kind of seemed like it might be okay, and I don't know, Nier Automata, that game actually looks like it might be good.
Well, I might get 2 consoles this year, so I haven't got any for many years before. So,
but then even worse, there's the Scorpio.
You can't buy
of the
that. You'd have to be nuts. How? I mean, you have the Xbox One. I mean, how much better is it going to be? Like a massive. It might.
Well, it's the thing. The jump between 4 and Pro is going to be nothing compared to 1 to Scorpio, theoretically. But yeah, you're probably right in that at the moment the Microsoft landscape is not great in the games that are coming to. There's no like third-party exclusives to get interested in at the moment.
No.
And Play Anywhere for the Microsoft exclusives means I can just probably play them on PC. So it's
exactly.
I'm sort of with you. I want to see what that thing is, and I do love my Xbox still as the sort of weirdly the thing they all the thing they advertised it for as in the first point.
But you were always going to be into that. Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm into the thing everybody hates about the Xbone.
But not really. Like, you don't use it that much for that. It's a pass-through for your TV.
Well, yeah, in a weird way, if nothing else, the single nicest thing about the Xbone is pressing the one button and have everything turn on.
You could just get a utility remote and do that.
Sure, but those are in every experience I've had with people that have had those, they're a pain in the ass. Like even the one I've seen where it's like it's fully programmable and you do a sequence and stuff like that. Even that goes wrong frequently. Was it Jay had one of these? My mate Jay had one of these like Logitech super smart remote things where you could basically teach it anything, like just by either blasting it with IR things or just downloading what the signals it was supposed to send were going to. And you could customize the order in which stuff turns on, things like that. But the problem is it's still all IR powered, so it has to like send the pulses in sequence to each device in turn and just be like blam, 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 which again is exactly what the Xbox is doing. But in his experience, he had problems where occasionally it would forget to turn something to the right channel or forget to turn something off. And then it'd be in an awkward state where it's like, okay, now I've actually got to either get up or go find the remote to put this thing into the state so my functions will work again. And it's like, no, don't want to go down that road. The Xbox knows. The Xbox just knows, and I press the button, and it gets it right every time.
The Xbox doesn't just know, though.
No, you tell it, admittedly. You say, I've got a Sony amp, fine. And I've got a Samsung TV, but also fine. And since then, it's like, I've got a Sky. And that was all I've had to tell it. But like, also, past that moment, it's been like, yep, I got this.
But also, it's just like, it's lucky that it works in your case. Like, for example, Jeff Gersman always complains about how his one doesn't, because his amp has to turn on before other things. He has an order, and the Xbox can't do that.
Oh,
it just spams out IR and turns them on in the wrong order, and then he can't get sound through it.
I wonder why that would be a thing. Weird. I wonder if the amp doesn't detect the TV or needs some kind of direct handshake between the two. That's odd.
But yeah, so it works in your case conveniently.
Although, admittedly, there are some flaws in that. Occasionally, the Xbox will start and not pick up sound from the Skybox, for instance. That's an occasional thing.
And there's still the problem where if you...
But sometimes the Skybox itself just gets stuck, which I don't think is anything to do with the setup. I think it's just because it's a Sky HD box.
Yeah. And there's the problem where if you want to use anything that's not the Xbox,
that's also okay. But then you just turn it on like you would any other system, like
you turn it on and then you have to turn it off and turn bits of it on and off.
Well, that's only if you turn the Xbox off. Yeah. If you turn the Xbox off, then you're in trouble because it turns everything else off with it. It doesn't expect there. There's no. I would quite like there to be an option. So when you do the hold Xbox button, but instead of turn off, it would be like turn console off only. If you know what I mean. So it leaves the TV and amp on, but turns itself off. That would be quite nice. And also, we use Cortana. I mean, not Cortana because I haven't actually gone down that path on my Xbone. But we use the voice control through Kinect.
When your Kinect's working.
Yeah, my Kinect's a bit dodgy, but when it's on and the light's on, we use it. It's like, I love all that stuff, and there's no alternative.
Is there a kind of Windows 10 thing with Cortana and like Windows Media Center? Does that exist or whatever?
No, they backed away from that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I guess it makes sense to use the Xbox for that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, well,
I am very much the minority.
I'm buying 2 consoles this year because I'm insane. So I'm getting the Switch because it looks awesome, because it's awesome, and I have to play Red Dead. If Red Dead was coming out on PC, I wouldn't get a PlayStation, and I probably won't until the end of the year when it comes out. But I might get because I need to get a PlayStation to play or an Xbox, I suppose. Because I need that to play Red Dead, I might get a PlayStation in the summer and play a bunch of Wipeout and like I don't know, Uncharted 4 or something. Anyway,
I'll tell you what. The one thing I am slightly envious of the Switch for, and I don't even know when it's coming out, is Fast RMX.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
It's a sort of I know it's a repackaged version of Fast Racing Neo, but there's another DLC pack in it of stuff, and it's like I'd play that again, and it seems like a pretty good portable game. Actually, that kind of thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'd play that again.
I'm sure we'll all have Switches by the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, maybe Rob can just do the classic maneuver and wait for Smash Bros.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, could do.
Yeah.
Or wait for Mario. I don't know. Or yeah, when's Smash Brothers then? Next
Well,
year, maybe?
Unannounced. Yeah.
And we also don't know whether it's going to be a port or a new one.
Oh, they're gonna make a new one. Come on.
You would hope so. But the last one wasn't that long ago. That's the trouble. And they've already established a trend for upscaling and porting.
Yeah,
I
given
guess
how
that's
long
true.
given how long it took to put together the last one as well.
Are you not going to want Splatoon 2, man? But although it's probably not that much different.
I am. I'm quite excited. I actually thought about playing some Splatoon this weekend, but the big unknown with Splatoon 2 is the online service and whether or not it's a pay-for online service to play multiplayer games. We still don't know that detail.
We don't know. Yeah.
And if that would be a deal breaker, probably for me in Splatoon. Like if I have to pay for another online multiplayer service, then it's like, nah, I don't want it.
Right, only for one game. If you had
admittedly, that is the other thing as well. Splatoon 2 is the only game I'd want to play online, really. I've played Mario Kart online in the past and had a good time.
But you don't want to do that much.
No.
It's like a one-off thing.
Fair.
And you wouldn't want to play Smash Bros. Online, obviously.
Oh, no, that always sucks.
Any fighting game online, bad.
Yeah, I've never liked any fighting game online, really.
No, they just don't work.
Not
Too much
for me.
lag. All right. What other news we got? Not much. Horizon Zero Dawn came out. People seem to like it. It looks amazing in 4K on the PS4 Pro. People are saying like...
I want to look at the Digital Foundry thing on that because I don't know if it's like actual
I don't know if
4K
it's out
or
yet.
If it's I think they've done a 4K
have they?
analysis.
Tear down. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, whether or not it's actually 4K or if it's like an upscaled or... Because I kind of doubt that's native, but yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, because I never had any interest in Killzone or anything, but apparently this world seems quite okay-ish.
Yeah.
So
I like the idea of the setting, but apparently they don't do a great deal with it until like the last little bit of the game.
Well, I just thought I like the idea of it and the world and stuff, but I saw people complaining about open world maps icon spam.
Oh,
it's
really?
like here's another not quite a Ubisoft game. The same problem. Everyone's doing it.
And there's also been a lot of praise lobbed at it actually for the non-pro version still being gorgeous. Like you don't need a pro really to get to enjoy this. It's like the improvements are minimal. Like other than the upscaling and stuff like it hadn't. Yeah, but like the normal version of the game is
looks
still
amazing.
Lovely.
Yeah. So it should be cool. Zeg, something about Crash Bandicoot on being available on like loads of platforms. Weirdly,
supposedly the remake that they're doing with Crash Bandicoot is not just going to come out on PlayStation; it's going to come out on Xbox and maybe PC.
There must be like a timed exclusivity.
Well, yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
I think someone did say that, but it's just like that just seems weird. Except really, not really. It's just you think of Crash Bandicoot as being a PlayStation mascot, except he was never actually Sony. He like wasn't owned by them.
It is a bit odd actually thinking about it. That why didn't Crash? Well, no, Crash turned up somewhere else once.
Yeah,
and that was the Crash Team Racing version on the GBA.
Sure.
Well, as far as I'm aware, they might have done other Crash stuff on GBA actually, but
yeah, but there's like it's the same thing that happened with PlayStation All Stars basically, where it's just like, why is Crash Bandicoot not in this? Well, I guess Sony don't actually own Crash Bandicoot, so they couldn't put him in it. Yeah. Now it's like, they don't own this game either.
I'm not even sure Sony owned Parappa. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think
isn't that
might
being
be
re-released or something?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing they're doing a 4K re-released version of Parappa the Rapper, and tightening up all the artwork.
graphics.
Yeah.
On level 3.
Sweet. Okay.
Step on the gas. Gas.
Gas.
It turns out there's more to the freestyle system than I realised in that game. Like the buttons you could press to say specific words and stuff. I didn't actually.
Was there some kind of combo?
Yeah, there was more to it. Because I only ever thought you could press the buttons that it would prompt, which were basically the face buttons and some of the triggers. Like maybe they're an L and R or something, but no, you can use the D-pad to do stuff and to help construct the phrases you want to say and things like that.
But all you want to say is gas.
Yeah, so basically gas, or
MIX the crack. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. MIX the crack. Well, it was also because it was like out of sequence as well. That sounded great because it was just like the crack.
Right, I think that's the news. It's time for what you've been playing. What you've been playing, Rob? What have you been playing?
You've been playing fucking Assassin's Creed again. God damn it!
Well, yeah. I can't finish it.
Yeah,
I've got. Well, no. What is it? I'm now most of the way through sequence 10 of 13. I think there is 13 or 14.
Oh man.
So. Yeah, that game kind of sucks.
Do you have anything more to complain about than you did?
I don't know why, because Vinny really liked it, right? Like it used to be at the time when it came out. People were like, "Well, Assassin's Creed 3 was bad, but like 4 has like piratey stuff, and that's like fun." But
it's really running me down slowly. It's just all the as I sort of alluded to last time, like all of the stealth systems that don't really work, and all of the combat that doesn't really work, and then so. I think I may have touched on this last time, but the structure of the game means I can't even mainline it if I wanted to, because there are certain points where it's just like, right, so the next mission you need to go to is right next to a hard level fort. And in order to get past this hard level fort and all that, you probably need to upgrade your ship. Oh, but you don't have the materials to upgrade your ship yet. So you're going to need to go randomly shoot the Spanish for a while to take over some boats and get some materials so you can... Get the elite hull. But you can't quite get the elite hull yet. You don't know how to craft that crap. So you need to do some underwater diving to go find the plan for the elite stuff so I can upgrade my ship to the right level. And so it actually kind of forces you down the side activity route. Which is odd. And it's, especially if you're like me, and it's just like, all right, I'm at the point where I just want to see this story through. And it's I can't really do that. I have to go off and do this other stuff to get myself in a state where I think I'm actually going to have an okay time taking down this hard level fort so I can get to the next mission. So I did the thing that you do in a lot of Assassin's Creed, like fairly early on. It's like, how you can like buy bigger swords or better guns or whatever, and just sort of like, well, what's the best? Well, I'm getting that. And don't buy anything in between. Just go for the best, which may have helped the combat slightly, but it's still doing it just does all the things I hate in those games frequently. Like, I don't know, I've put the counter symbol on screen. All right, so I'll press the B button to counter. Nope, you've been hit. It's like, great, I did what you asked. I'm in the middle of comboing this guy from behind. Oh no, there's a guy off screen you couldn't see, and it just smacked you in the face. And it's like, okay, great. Carry on with that. It's like, oh yeah, there's a dude with a gun miles away that you can't actually stop from shooting you because you've just killed all the guys around you, and now there's just this guy with a gun shooting at you, and it's like, oh, but I can't get out of your vision range in time. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, nice, thanks game. It's just frequent irritation, and again with the stealth, it's just like, all right, I'm in a bush. What do I do in this bush? Normally you get that nice sort of suspicious to come and have a look to go into combat. Every now and then it just does, no, you're in combat. And you're like, wait, what just happened? Why am I suddenly being rushed by a million guys?
Constant frustrations and
it's
little, like, you've played hours of the game and it's like, it's still surprising you with its mechanics.
Yeah,
like,
I still don't fully understand its logic.
Yeah.
And it's and
I
where
think
it's
we know
coming
from
and-
Assassin's Creed that the reason is because it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Not because there's a flaw in your understanding of the logic.
Yeah, and there's plenty of times where it's just like even when I'm trying to do a bit as stealthily as possible, and I'll go through like I've had one occasion of getting through a fairly guard swarmed place, and it's taken me a good half an hour to get from, and I'm doing it all right. I'm perfect stealth. I'm killing all these guys. I haven't been spotted yet. I haven't got into combat. Been sabotaging the alarm bells, and it's like, oh great, I know this has gone quite well. Only to then suddenly get to a section where it's like, I did not ask you to suddenly just stand upon this fence next to me, waving my arms around like a loon, and so like all these guys suddenly go, there he is. It's like instant combat. And then you get killed, and then it's just like, oh, because you're not super equipped at that point. I don't actually have my swords, and it's you get killed, and it's like, all that work you just did, do it again, and it's oh, you have got to be kidding me. I did sort of a few expletives rang out through the house when that happened. It's a real bummer, and it's like it's like all that initial promise I thought the game had just sort of wears out. Like it doesn't. It overstays its welcome so badly, and it's too long. And it like all Assassin's Creed games, they're too long.
They are,
and even the story just has turned out to be kind of rubbish. It's like it basically just relies on, hey, you're I suppose I can spoil the crap out of this ancient game.
Sure.
But it's basically like, hey, you're a pirate, right? Being pirate's good, and we stand for men being able to do whatever the hell they wanted. Oh, but this hasn't panned out very well for you, has it? Oh, this still isn't panning out well for you, is it? Oh, this still isn't panning out well for you, is it? Oh, you've been betrayed by everyone you know. Oh, you've been betrayed by this other person you know. Oh, now all the people are dead. Sudden revelation that you might actually need to be part of a bigger cause about 80% of the way through the game.
Right.
It's like, that is not good pacing. That is not good. There's no drive, right? There's I can't even say that the Abstergo stuff outside of the game is there to cause intrigue, because it's not. It's like you wander around, you hack a few things, you learn nothing. It's like...
Right.
It's just
a framing device with nothing in it.
Yeah. It's a real... It's like I'm just on the completist mode now, which is like I've got it. I got like halfway through it, and it was just like, I'm gonna finish this, right? I've put this many bloody hours into it. I'm gonna show you who's boss. Game. Up middle finger at you. But yeah, but in the weird way though, despite how much criticism I have against it and how much I actually don't think it's a good game, it kind of still does that open world thing of, I'm just going to go check off a few boxes. I'm just going to go get this treasure chest. I'm just going to, sail around for a bit, do this thing, which is kind of weirdly okay and satisfying in a sort of not satisfying at all sort of way. It's all you must know what I mean, right? There's something about there is that thing about open world games where it's sometimes okay just to live by the icons on the map. The sort of brainlessness of it, and be like, I'm just going to go pick up this thing. This thing has no importance at all. I don't gain anything from picking up this animus fragment in any capacity, but I'm still going to go do it because it's there.
Yeah, because you just got to catch them all, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a thing on the map I need to make go away.
This map must be cleansed. Cleansed. I am the cleansed. I am the map janitor.
Yeah,
cleansed.
There is still that in me. So
I don't know if that. I was trying to think of whether that actually, even though I do ridiculous things in games where I've played shit for far too long in weird ways, I'm not sure that specific thing works. Like, I was thinking about Skyrim, and it's not exactly like that in Skyrim, because there have been times where I'm just like, I'll just go to whatever compass icon on my HUD is there that I haven't been to before. I'll just go to it and do whatever's there. But it's like that. Those aren't. They're still side stuff, but they're not just like, here's a chest, you open it and you get a thing. It's like they're still constructed things in Skyrim. It's still like, here's a little tomb and there's a very tiny amount of story, but it's still, there's something to recognise is different about this one location compared to everywhere else. It's not just a collectible.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The thing isn't just there, it's like somehow still set up.
Yeah.
There's some world building around it. Whereas, like, I can't even say that about the assassination contracts in this game, right? There's basically a tiny little bit of blurb saying, yeah, the assassins want you to kill this guy, go kill him. And then you get to the area and it's like, in classic Assassin's Creed style, they've just taken like a bit of the world and put a red box on it.
Yeah.
To be like, something this is trouble. Yeah. But then, and you'll hear like the guy will just say some flavor text, I guess, like probably most of the time just being an arse to the people around him, being like, work harder, fill this boat. We're leaving without you if you don't fill this boat fast. Or something stupid, something that doesn't make sense usually. And he's just like, oh yeah, I love slaves or something.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
So then you just rock up and kill him and then leave. And then it's like, well, that was that. Like, I don't care who this guy was or anything like that. There's nothing to it. It's not like Witcher where like every side quest
on everything,
is meaningful.
And then it's like thinking about the Skyrim.
I might have to play Witcher. Sorry, just to put this Assassin's Creed thing behind me. And
people have been comparing like Horizon Zero Dawn to Witcher 3. I've heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The thing about that I was thinking then about Skyrim is like, so the thing when Skyrim has the ability to have every icon on the map be a thing, like actually have some even tiny amount of importance, that sort of works against it as well in a different way. Whereas like then you've got the problem of like, if I don't go to this place and like if it links into something else, then I've started this whole chain of things where I have to remember where I've got the item to do this thing somewhere else. And
you have to remember because there's a menu thing that shows you the million quests that you have open at one time.
Yeah, it's like it's like I don't know which is better. Just like, do you want map icons which are always self-contained but like irrelevant, or do you want chains of things that you can never escape because there's always more of them?
That's the one thing MMOs have got right now, isn't it? Like the proper quest logging and saying like, "Oh, this is my active quest right now. I want to see stuff about that." Or actually, this is something else that Assassin's Creed does very badly. If you start an assassination contract and then you realize, "Oh no, actually, I probably can't do that right now." I don't know how you sort of get out of it. So basically, on the side of my screen at all times now, there's a little thing saying side activities go to your assassination target. And it's just like, no, but I can't make that disappear unless I go do it. So there's a bit of UI just in the way the whole time. Also, that game is about like super heavy with its hint system, and I think this was true actually of maybe the last two Assassin's Creed games before this, which is like there's stuff popping up in the bottom right constantly saying, "Hey, by the way, you can craft some stuff." I mean, and it's like I don't want to spend my crafting materials on making an outfit that makes me look like a jaguar. It's like I don't care right now. I just want to get on, or like by the way, you can fast travel. It's like I know I can fast travel. Leave me alone.
Well, maybe that's better than like what happened with Mirror's Edge, where it's like, it pops up once, and if you're not paying attention, you've missed it, and you never know how to do that.
Yeah, there's an element to that, but it's just like after a while, it's just like, oh, by the way, you can stealth swim. It's just like saying that all the time. It's like, oh, hold B to make sure to let go of the wheel on your boat. It's like that's pretty. It says that above my head.
I'm pretty sure we said it about Mirror's Edge and related games in the past, probably even where it's just like, every game just needs to have it so that there's just a menu option where it's just the tips.
Yeah.
And you can just look at them all.
This is the thing. Actually, Assassin's Creed used to be. I haven't actually dug into its menus too much because there's an awful lot of collectible crap in the menus.
Naturally.
And it's but it used to actually be pretty good at that back in 2. I remember like the whole database section actually basically had an Animus user guide in there that doubled up as your controls, and here's how you do this thing, and here's how you do that thing.
And it had like, what's his name?
I think Tomb Raider even has that.
Who's the guy I'm thinking of? Not Dave Gorman, the other guy who did the voice of the nerd in Assassin's Creed 2.
Is it a Wallace? I want to say.
Yeah, that's right. Danny Wallace, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyway,
he's got a very small part in Assassin's Creed 4, by the way. He's there. He's manning a coffee stand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Enough Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Well, apparently
Well, I will have
You know-
finished it by next time for sure.
Will you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna next time there's a Steam sale, I'm gonna get you Syndicate or whatever. I'll get you the next one, and then you can go through even more pain.
Well, no, the next one's Unity, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Unity
Oh.
and then Syndicate. Yeah.
And I do own a copy of Watch Dogs. Goddammit.
Well, at least your PC will be able to crush Unity and make it look awesome.
Well, in theory, yeah, and hopefully Watch Dogs always used to have was fairly well reported for performance problems on PC.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully I'll be above that.
Yeah, you
but,
shouldn't play that. You should play 2.
skip to Watch Dogs 2. But it's again, it's one of those things. I just have a copy of it. And it's
Yes,
like,
but you have a copy of so many goddamn things.
yeah,
It's the problem.
I have a copy of Witcher
That's
3.
literally
I have a copy of Far Cry 3. Actually crossed my mind the other day.
That is a
I still
good
haven't
game,
played.
man. That's pretty good. That game.
I was thinking about that the other day because I had that the copy of that where someone tried to make a Uplay account on my email address. And just
Oh
got
wow!
Far
So
Cry
you
3.
just got one.
Yeah, you
Apparently, I haven't actually looked to see whether it is there or not.
That is a good game. I mean, 4 might be, I don't know, better in some ways, but I think 3 was,
Did you play
pretty damn
4 then?
good. No,
Oh, okay.
I just think it might be from what I've seen and heard of it.
Depends if you like helicopters, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you've played the stupid 80s one, haven't you?
I played Blood
Yeah,
Dragon.
Blood Dragon. Yeah. Anyway, I think 3 is probably it's pretty good.
I mean, the weird thing, like Blood Dragon, may have both endeared me to the idea, but also put me off. It's like I'm not sure I wanted a game bigger than Blood Dragon. Maybe with more variety of things to do, but
It's
actually
got
the sort of
Quite a bit
semi-short
more.
length of Blood Dragon was quite nice.
Yeah,
but-
fair. Yeah, it does go on, I suppose. But you get to the point where you can like paraglide between the islands and stuff, and it's like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and the story is kind of cool in a you're a weird way, really weird way, like where all your friends are like dickheads and stuff, and you're trying to rescue them, but then you turn into this insane nightmare. It's really weird. It's like subverting stuff all the time. I think it probably screws it up at the end, but still.
You become the definition of crazy. Is that
I
what
think
you're saying?
you become like Kurt. What's his name in
Vance, is it at the start of the game?
I'm thinking of Apocalypse Now or
Oh, right.
whatever. Kurtz, isn't it Colonel Kurtz?
Kurt.
Anyway,
Yeah.
because that character comes from that book, Heart of Darkness, right? Anyway,
I've
It's a
been playing
short
other
story.
stuff.
What else have we playing?
You have been
I've been
stupidly obsessed with your Steam achievements.
well, yeah, I've been doing that as well. So yeah, on that front, it's worth mentioning that. Well, Zach and I started playing. We did Crazy Taxi for a video, so I won't talk about it too.
It's crazy, buddy.
I won't talk about the Dreamcast collection PC port of that too much. Apart from all you need to know is it's not as good as the Dreamcast version.
No.
Play that if you can. Even though it pretty much is the Dreamcast version, there's some details in the port that just haven't quite come across, like the weirdly digital control and the even though you're playing it on an analog stick, and it hasn't got the original music or the original branding or any of that stuff, but it's actually kind of okay. I don't mind that it's not got The Offspring or Bad Religion in it. It's like the replacement music is generic, but fine, it works. And also it seems to have lost some graphical effects over the years, in much the same way that the ports of Sonic Adventure have lost effects over the years. Go watch. There's some awesome videos out there about what happened to the Sonic Adventure ports over the years and how the Dreamcast version is actually probably still the best. So yeah, this suffers from a very similar problem. It's like, I've been trying to get the achievements on it. It probably won't take me long. I'm already up to A license. I need to get the S. I need to do an S rank run. But I'm getting better, and also do all the crazy buck stuff, which is weird. But yeah, it's like Crazy Taxi. I've been playing a bit of that. I've been also on a similar note. I've been continuing to play Joe Danger, the movie.
Yeah, still getting achievements.
Yeah, that I go up and down on that one because it's like the sort of in your face movie stylings of that games and like the shouty director, which I think I already picked up on last week, and the dramatic music and the slightly too much stuff going on screen so you can't see what you're actually supposed to be doing, sort of thing. It's just a bit much. It's a bit overwhelming and a bit sort of blah at all times, and so that wears me down a bit. And it's also just some of its tricks and quirks, which you discover in the end, like being able to have a certain amount of air control if you boost at the right time or at the right angle in the air, and things are actually just a little too hard to pull off, or the fact that it, if you need to duck down but under something, you can't just press the button and you'll be safe. It takes a little while for Joe to hunker down. So on some of the harder bits, it's like you need to actually press it ahead of time, and some of that stuff always comes across as a little odd. It's kind of good, but just in a sort of weird, almost like a mobile game kind of feel to it. But it's but it's missing a certain quality. There's a certain finesse, I suppose, a certain refinement that it's definitely missing, and it gets a little. I say it's all right for short bursts, like maybe an hour max. Like if you can't really play it for any more than that before you're just like, my eyes and my ears.
Okay, cool. I get the picture.
Yeah. So there's that. I'm sort of still working my way through. I started playing because I needed something to do that didn't involve my PC at one point. So I started playing Strike Suit Zero on the Xbox.
Okay, what's that?
It was a game that came to me for free as part of Xbox Live Gold a long time ago, and has been sat on my hard drive for a very long time. And it's like, I should probably get around to actually seeing what this is. And it's basically a 3D space sim, space combat sim, sort of in a very traditional sort of way. As in, you target a thing, you have both roll and yaw controls, and you fly around, and you lead your shots, and you get your missile locks, and you have to watch your thrusting, tight turns, slow down to do tight turns, and all that stuff. It's protect your carriers. It's very much one of those, and it's kind of okay most of the time.
Okay most of the time. Wow.
Most of the time. So
raves.
Yeah,
raves.
I know. Again, I'm not super positive on this either. It's I don't know. When it does all the basics just right, if you know what I mean. So you're still targeting. The targeting seems relatively easy. You're still, it uses the D-pad for switching between. So you can get close. If you get into range, you can switch to machine guns, which sort of auto lock, and they're very good at stripping down shields. So you use your machine guns to strip down their shields, then you switch to your plasma shots and do the classic aim for the dot that's ahead of the person to land them properly, and then they explode, and that's fine. That all works just nice. And you can have rocket pods or lock-on missiles, and those all seem to work just as you'd expect. It does all of that stuff just fine. It even has a nice sort of, you have infinite. Yeah, it has basically a missile chaff style system where gives you a little indicator when missiles are getting close, and basically when the missile range appears on screen, it's like you should fire your EMP, and that will disable the missile. It doesn't mean it still won't hit you if it's already got its trajectory right and you don't swerve out of the way, but that missile won't track you anymore. And you basically get unlimited EMPs, and they fire pretty quick. So as long as you're paying attention to that there's a missile coming at you, then they don't pose too much of a threat, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of fine. And actually, some of the styling of how the game looks is kind of okay as well. It sort of has it tries to do the sort of every craft has a nice neon trail coming out the back of it, and it's obvious that you, as the United Nations of Earth, have blue trails because you're the good guys, and the Colonials have red trails because they're the bad guys.
Okay.
And it's like there are moments where in the bigger fights where you sort of, if you're standing back a bit and you turn around and have a look at it, it's like all the blue and red lasers flying everywhere and all the trails of the ships going through the sky. Looks kind of nice. It's like, nice. All right, you got a nice aesthetic going on here. And then you get up close to objects, and they look like garbage. Like just kind of low polygon, somewhat uninspired, crappy, murky texture looking cack. Like it has the problem that a lot of space shooters do, where like the bigger craft that may be covered in turrets and stuff can't really see the turrets. You just have to trust your targeting computer is pointing you in the right direction. And it's just like, all right, I'll fire some stuff at that red crosshair. All right, a bar has gone down. Good-o. Carry on.
Okay.
And it's also a bit performance-y. It's not brilliant in spots, so it's kind of looks like garbage other than its neon effects and doesn't run that great at times, which is a bit of a problem. The game does have a bit of an ace in its hole. So the whole thing about it being the strike suit is that your craft, once you've built up enough flux, you can press the A button and your ship transfers into a Gundam. Basically,
actually, okay,
you're flying around in a mecha, and like suddenly you're you can air dash around the place, and you can get it to auto lock onto things and just fire your cannon at stuff, and it's really high damaging. Or you can use your missile barrage, and it locks onto loads of stuff at once and looks real cool as things go out of you and swarm enemies, and that stuff's kind of okay. Except again, when you get to look at the like when it first turns into the strike suit, and the animation is like. And it's like, oh no, actually, this looks like, from the front, this thing looks like garbage. It's like my actual mecha doesn't look particularly hot. And it's like, but it looks way better from the back because your jets are there and stuff. So it's like a little bit more exciting going on from behind. And but weirdly, that's like, it just seems like that's sort of relegated to being a bit of a superpower rather than actually being particularly cool to do. It feels like that should be like more of a, now I'm a mecha, and now it's like, now I'm kicking ass, and I'm feeling great about it. It's like, no, I'm pressing A, I'm just sort of shooting at the things flying past, they're dying. I can only do this for a certain period of time. You can't EMP when you're in that form, so dodging missiles is a bit hard. Or dodging any kind of shot, actually. You're just sort of sat there taking a bit of damage while you're murdering stuff, and it's like, I better fly away now. It becomes more of a normal thing rather than a cool thing. And also I'm pretty sure one of the missions in the campaign I managed to break like 3 or 4 times over, which is somewhat unforgivable. So there's
actually break it.
So there's a mission where you warp into a zone and there's some stuff in trouble. They sort of use the Titanfall terminology for that stuff as well. You fold into space instead of like warping or teleporting. It's like, fold in, and it's like, that's actually kind of cool. I like that as a word to use. But so you fold into a location. Something's in a bit of trouble, so you quickly go and strip the turrets off this cruiser, and you save the craft. Except, as with every sort of defense mission, sometimes the time it allots you before the ship you're supposed to be defending dies is a little random. Sometimes it seems really generous, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that thing died in like a couple of seconds. That's not the important thing about this part, though, because once you've taken off the main turrets, then the objective then or saved the ship, or the ship has died. The objective changed to, right, now you need to get rid of the flak turrets on this thing. Now you've got rid of the main like ship-destroying turrets. So that our bombers are safe to do bombing runs on this thing. And it's like, all right, fine, I can do that. So you go and kill all the flak cannons, and then your support turns up, and it's like, right, no, we're going to go do the bombing runs. Yep, this all seems fairly normal at this point, right? This all seems to plan. So then you go, right, what do I need to do? And it's like the objective is basically like kill the cruiser, and it's like, all right, no, my bombers are good at that. That's fine. So we'll take that. I'll make sure I get rid of the rest of these flak turrets, and I'll keep the fighters at bay around the area and stuff like that. And then there's one point in the mission where I'm pretty sure the guy, your lady, what are they called, wingman? They do wingman. Yeah. Will basically say that cruiser's gonna go, like, hit it now or something like that, and then sort of just carried on as normal, still killing some things, and then eventually the game goes, yeah, all your bombers are dead, you fail.
What? And
you have to do that entire sequence again. And I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? What was I supposed to have been doing? So I did it again. Same thing happened. Did it again. same thing happened. And I'm sort of sat scratching my head at this point going, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing differently to solve this. On the fourth try, and just to make it clear, I was keep going because there was a lot of segments before this bit, so it checkpointed in the middle of this mission at the start of this sequence. So I had to do all of that, save the ship, strip the turrets, blah, 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 do all of that from that point, but there'd already been like 2 other sections before, so I was a bit reluctant to give up on the mission completely at this point.
Sure.
So I kept going. On the fourth time, when she said, the cruiser's about to go hit it, the bombers did a bombing run and killed the thing. And then the mission moved on, and it's like, was that supposed to have happened the last 3 times I did it?
And it just didn't trigger? Or...
Yeah, and then it just said the bombers are dead after a while. I just don't know. I don't know what I did differently that time to make that work. And it's like, and it was at that point I basically sort of started thinking to myself, this game might not even be good. Like, right. no, not even, it might not even be worth your time kind of thought. It's like, it started off okay, but then just sort of ended up in this place where it's like, as soon as you start breaking.
Yeah, it's like the patience that you need with it or whatever.
Yeah, and the section itself was, a little bit lengthy. You're doing it several minutes in a row for something that then turns out to be potentially a game glitch that was holding you back. It's just like, yeah, no, all right, that's
bad. Maybe
I don't carry on with this, but I know I will because I'm more than halfway through it. So it's
is that your tipping point? If you're over 50%, then that's it. You've got to finish it.
Maybe, and it has a second campaign as well, which isn't that long. Like it was like a DLC campaign for the PC version, and it's but it's included in this director's cut edition. Yeah, I don't know. It's not doing it for me either, really. So I'm playing a lot of games at the moment, none of which really doing it for me.
Yeah.
Except for friggin' Viva Pinata. I played slightly too many hours of Viva Pinata over the last 2 weeks.
On what platform?
Xbone.
Of course, because you got the rare replay.
Yeah, I'm playing the rare replay version of Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. And got to the point where I needed to start a second garden and bred some worms. I've got a lot of worms in this garden because I hadn't done it like the last one. I wanted my Master Romancer award because I need to get rid of these sour macacaroons that are taking over my gardens and eating my chickens.
What a game.
Freaking love that game. It's so good. It's just so easy to just fall back into it and be like, I've lost 5 hours. Like it's so good. I know that sounds like bizarre. Like most people listening to this podcast will be like, "Yeah, what are you talking about?"
No, it's amazing.
It's a kid's game. No, it's seriously, it's amazeballs.
Well, you do have a track record of if a game is good, it doesn't matter if it's for kids, like the Plants vs Zombies or whatever.
Totes.
Plants vs Zombies was for kids, really.
What, the shooter?
Yeah.
It was just a good aesthetic. I don't care. It's like I quite like that PVZ look. It sort of worked in that game.
Yeah, I think that's the bit. That's why it might not have been for kids. Where it's like it was the aesthetic, but the actual mechanics were just like a shooter, basically.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but some of the abilities and things, they could do.
But that was the point, wasn't it? I think the marketing standpoint was like, this is the Call of Duty that your grandma can buy. Teenage.
Yeah. You can actually buy this as a gift and not feel guilty.
Yeah, not be illegal.
Yeah, that too. And it was good and inventive.
Exactly.
If they made it like a remastered version of Viva Pinata that ran at 60 frames per second and rather than the 30 frame cap, not that it really matters. As long as they improve the loading times when you want to go to the store, or bring up the encyclopedia, because those are kind of bad. It's fine when you're actually just in your garden mucking around and stuff. But the moment you need to actually go to a menu, it takes time. And that's no good. Man, that game, so good. And that's pretty much all I've been doing. I've been doing all of those things and not liking all of them except for Viva Pinata.
Great.
Cool. I've been playing some Dirt Rally for some reason.
Yeah, I noticed.
No, really?
Yeah, I still am on the same. Like basically, I can't get third position in the elite championship, which is the second to last. So I think I'll just be on elite for forever unless I
think that
actually
might
get
be where
better.
I am as well.
I think that seems to be my point. Where unless I actually really concentrate on getting faster times, I'm never gonna. And the championships are really long, so I don't know how I'm gonna get good enough to actually.
Well, you using a specific car at this point, or are you still just like progressing upwards through?
I think I stopped at 95 rally cars or whatever, the classics, the Group A's or whatever. So
Right.
So I think I could then. I've got enough points to move on, even though I'm not.
Well, yeah, could you just buy a modern rally car?
Well, I might do. That's what I'm considering because I quite like the. So I'm in the classic Colin McRae Rally 1 Subaru Impreza, which
Nice.
now at this point, when I last played the game, it didn't have the original livery available, but now it does.
Oh, they put it in. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So it has the blue because last time it had a blue livery that just said Dirt Rally, but now it has the blue livery with the yellow.
The proper, the blue livery with the proper yellow Subaru logo.
Yeah,
that's
the proper
that's
Colin
one.
McRae livery is in there. So now I'm like, oh yes. So now I'm thinking, well, what do I buy next? And I'm a bit confused by the categories, but I guess it's because things have been recategorized since. I tried to look it up on Wikipedia because there's like R4, right?
Yeah.
And that has a Lancer in it, the Evo 10. But I think that is just the Evo 10 rally car. It's just that since it was since that one was up to date, it's been reclassified.
Has that got one of the Citroens in it as well, that class?
Well, that R4 class is like...
There's only 2 cars in that class.
Well, not to like say what it actually real life is, but in the game, it's just like those cars are like slower and easier to drive than most of the other ones in that kind of price range.
Right.
They're like
really?
shittier rally cars.
So what's the one to get then? Like
Well,
the
I did
modern
like the
rally
Lancer
car.
in that group because
Right,
because
that's always
easy to
been your
drive.
car, right? Yeah.
Have they
Okay.
got the Colin McRae 2 Focus in the game yet?
There is a
There's not
Focus
too
in
many
there.
Focuses. There's
Really?
like 3 different ones.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a Focus next because they're new.
Well,
Because the up to date
one with
ones.
the Martini logo, right? The livery, right? The classic white.
I don't think that's in
blue
there.
and oh,
Well, you could if you're just going to go modern, you could just get the most modern. Just like
yeah, but that's like a
Hyundai or
Fiesta.
whatever.
I don't want a
Look at the
Fiesta.
Hyundai one, the weird
Yeah.
one with the weird engine.
But I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
it's
jumping
happening.
all the way to how many classes up is that from the
I think
Group
that's
A?
I think that's really only technically one class up. I think like all the other classes that are at that end are like were added afterwards.
well, like the kit cars and things.
yeah,
Oh,
Kit
okay.
cars
So
aren't in the same league.
so do you think I should just move up to that?
Yeah, just go for if you're in Group A already, you might as well just go to one of the modern ones.
and then just I'll be
And
faster.
it'll be quite easy.
Will it
well,
be easier
it'll
to
be-
get?
It'll be real fast, but you'll also have insane amounts of grip comparatively because of
Okay,
all the-
okay. So
all the
that'll make it
modern
easier to get
powers.
past elite if I want to get past elite.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay, cool. Did you beat?
I don't remember like how it happened because I have the achievement for winning at Masters. I don't remember what I drove or what.
But
point
did you have
that
to?
was.
Do you mean winning as in number
Yeah,
one at
winning.
Masters? Holy shit!
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't remember.
I've never won anything in that game.
Yeah, neither have I.
I
That's
just
one
think
thing
it-
that annoys me is I wish you could configure it so that every single bloody segment of track didn't have to turn red, even if you were doing fine. Relatively fine.
Yeah, you need to be able to change like what the relative
Yeah.
comparison is.
Yeah. What is it relative to? The current leader or
Yeah, I
just
think
the...
it's just the fastest person.
It's
that's
always
really
the
annoying.
top. It's always the top time.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe it should go like
'Cause it's
amber
just-
or something. If it's like you're catching on the place above you or something, or you did better than the guys above you.
Yeah, that would be good. Because all I get is like, oh, you're
Or maybe
10
a guy
seconds
above you or
behind.
something.
No,
Yeah,
you're 20
you
seconds
beat one.
behind.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was amber. If it was like you beat one person above you on that segment, just to give you an indication. It's like, okay, now I'm gaining a little bit, but maybe not on the leader.
Because the thing is, you can get you can have it where it'll be like it'd be red a bunch, and it'd be like because it's comparing to the fastest time.
Yeah.
But the person who was in first has crashed, and then you've just automatically moved up a position.
So the guy with the fastest time is actually someone else, like someone completely random in the roster. Yeah,
exactly. It's not the leader. So then you go up a place or whatever, and it turns green on the. It gives you a green arrow on the list of stages.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened when I did win Masters, but I think it was like a close win. It wasn't like I won a bunch of the rallies. It was like I came consistently second and third enough.
Right.
or whatever.
Has there been many other significant updates to the game? Like,
No.
It seems
are they just all
good.
done now?
Like I noticed that going into a stage is different because now it beeps and goes immediately to a kind of camera swooping around the track thing.
They put that in on like I think it might have been two patches ago, like not the last patch but the second to last patch.
So that's quite nice.
Not sure I've seen that.
That makes it feel more polished.
Finished.
Yeah. Makes it feel more finished.
The thing about Dirt is like now I've got the wheel, now I've got a fast machine. I kind of would love to see what it's like playing this game with a Rift or something. I really want to see what that's like.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I did think about picking up Project Cars, because that was part of the recent Namco bundle that they had. Like to see whether that would be good with a wheel. It probably is pretty good on PC, right, with a wheel and stuff. But then a bit in my head was also like, I've got this thing now where it's just like, how do I make these games actually better? And it's like than what I've experienced before. And in my head, that can only be VR.
Or in your case, it's still just a wheel that works better.
Well, the wheel I've got right now works great.
But you didn't exactly use that much.
No, I haven't done yet, no. I really should play. It's just one of those things, like the timing has never quite worked out for me for quite a while to play Dirt again. Because when I had a large period of time, it's just been like, I better carry on with this game that's taking a large portion of my time.
Well, somehow, that didn't work for you on Dirt. Like, you didn't have. What about your Steam achievements in Dirt? I mean, come on, get those up.
Absolutely, my normal.
We need to direct the ROM power onto that source.
Yeah, probably should. Still installed and everything.
I mean, there's a shit ton of achievements you can get in that game well easy. Because there's an achievement for every for getting the fastest time on every stage.
Oh, yeah, but those are difficult.
Not really, because you can do it at any difficulty. So you can just set it to a single stage and the lowest difficulty, and just demolish all the AI. Get that achievement. It's only a time trial; doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe. Do you gain much for doing that? Like, do you get credits? Is it?
Well, now that after the patch that they did where they made it so you could make custom championships, you can do it like that. You can just set up a low-level championship of however many stages you want and then still get money for it.
But is that a dangerously backward step in the career thing? Like, would I actually be losing money to do something like that rather than gaining in order to
keep
my staff in check?
The staff, maybe.
And to be able to perhaps be still going towards buying a new car and something.
Well, it depends how much money you're spending. Depends how good your staff actually are.
Average, not great.
They don't cost that much, do they?
I think I might still be missing a slot as well.
They don't actually cost that much. Like the highest rank ones are like 12,000 or whatever. And then if you're winning, you're getting the maximum amount of money at least. Even if it's scaled for low level. And actually, it's not, I guess it wouldn't be scaled down. Because the way the scaling works is it scales, obviously, if high difficulties, you just get more money in general, because that's the reward. But when you're using the custom thing, it scales the amount of reward compared to how many stages you actually did versus how many would normally exist at that level. So if you're doing a Masters Championship, but you're only doing 4 stages per location Masters Championship, you're getting a quarter as much money. But if you're doing a beginner level championship and you're doing 12 stages per location, you're getting 4 times as much money as you'd get at beginner because you're doing more than it does by default.
I really wish the
number of
stages.
It's
in the custom championship.
Oh, I see. Because
There's actually
by
just an option.
I just use the default one, and of course, there's a lot of stages.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't have a choice in
No.
the actual career.
Like I said, I really wish that number just generally wasn't as high as it is. Right? Like, mix it up a bit. Like, I don't want to see, like, the 12-stage ones where it's based... Because there's only 2 actual stages per location, but you're doing either bits of it or it backwards. And it's like, when you put that over 12 stages, it's like... This isn't actually
We'll see what this...
doesn't hold my attention for that long.
We'll have to see how good this Dirt 4 thing is with the track generation, because, I mean, that could be... I mean, if that works, I mean... It's hard to imagine how it could be
really great.
It could be really great, but I don't think they would, dive into it if it wasn't going to work. Doesn't seem, yeah. So they must be pretty confident in it. Sounds like the guy there who's been trying to push for it for years has been working on it or whatever, and is pretty confident about it. So it's not a new idea at Codemasters apparently, but of course it's the first time they've actually.
Yeah, it might be the one time they've been able to put time into the tooling to get where it needs to be.
And maybe it was slightly by necessity at this point, since the actual World Rally Championship is all tied up now. They can't even get a slight amount of that.
No, it's all gone now. Yeah,
they're like, we can't even use these tracks. We'll have to invent a way to make our own.
Well, they always did make their own. Really, they weren't actually actual locations, were they? Apart from perhaps when Dirt did stuff at Battersea, maybe. But
well, sort of. And then,
well, they're not even allowed to use the country. Is that what you're saying? So we can't make a rally game in Finland.
Wales.
I'm pretty sure they're allowed to use the country.
Right.
They're probably not allowed to use the name.
No, totally.
You can't fake call it Sweet Lamb.
Right.
Because I did watch. I think I probably mentioned this before, but I did watch one a side-by-side comparison of the actual stage and the one in Dirt Rally, and they're pretty damn close when you consider how they've had to port it into a game. It's surprisingly close.
Right, yep. So I played a bit of that. And I also played some Black Mesa. Because I was which I haven't played since it first came out, and now it's been on Steam for a long time, and it has actually changed. I think it's obviously the same maps and stuff, but they have kept improving it, I think.
They've been working on it solid, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been working on it. So I didn't realize, but anyway, so Zen is obviously coming out in the summer and isn't out yet, but I've been playing Black Mesa, and it looks a lot better, I think. Obviously, it doesn't look like a modern game, but it looks really pretty good. They've done stuff which is like basically retconning Half-Life to add sort of Half-Life 2 stuff into it, which is kind of interesting. So like Kleiner and Eli have their more dialogue like at the start where they are those characters or whatever that you meet later, rather than being generic dudes that get. So it's like they added the retcon in Half-Life 2 back into Half-Life 1 or whatever. I don't know what you call that. So that was kind of cool. And I like that actually some of the voice acting and stuff, it's reminiscent of the original game, but it is quite good and expanded. So
would you call that retconning process George Lucas?
I don't know, because the thing is, it's not the original creator who's doing it, right?
I guess. Yeah.
But on the other hand, it is the original creator who made the changes. So Valve did retcon Half-Life in order to make Half-Life 2, but now a bunch of modders are putting those changes into the original. So I guess it is like George Lucas, right? Except
it's digital edition or whatever they called those.
Yeah, I mean, it's like them putting Hayden Christensen into the end of Jedi. I guess that's what it's like. Something like that, except backwards in time, because those were prequels and Half-Life 2 was a sequel. Anyway.
So basically what you're saying is one of the coppers is now actually Barney.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, no, you don't see Barney, but they make a comment saying like Barney's ill today or something like that. So,
so you don't. Guy who owes you a drink then? That's Barney. Because he references that in Half-Life 2.
Yeah, he does, yeah. I think that is broken.
Freeman just owes everyone on the security staff a drink.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure. Or maybe it is Barney.
Unless they change that line.
I think maybe you meet him somewhere. But they're basically changing it so that, obviously you don't meet the same person a million times, and that there are unique people. So that's kind of cool. Although there aren't enough actual new scientist models or whatever to actually make them all different. So you still get the effect. It's just not as bad. And it controls really well. So I was thinking of playing that up to Zen for when it comes out. So we'll see. But it's like, damn it, I don't know. Maybe I should get what's it? Titanfall 2 for the single player just to see. Because have you played that, Rob?
Yeah.
Is it
we
good?
talked about it excessively, leading up to Game of the Year, and Titanfall 2 is great.
Yeah, but you mainly focused on the. I've mainly seen you playing the.
No, I played through the single player first.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
it is also pretty great.
So I'm thinking, because it's just like a bit depressing that there hasn't been a really great PC first-person campaign for like.
I mean, you don't really put the BioShocks in that category, do you?
No, because I don't think they are that good as shooters. Really, I mean, I've played them. I like Infinite, but as a shooter, it's not that good. I don't think.
Yeah, no, and all of them are sort of flawed in different ways. It's like it's interesting because I was thinking back to like the original BioShock the other day and like some of the weaponry in it and how it functions and the actual high lethality of or high danger that other things actually pose to you.
Yeah,
like the amount of damage they do to you is significant.
Yeah,
and especially if you're playing it in hard mode or, God forbid, 1999 mode. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot, and there was something to that actually kind of was okay because it may not have been like what everyone wants to happen. It wasn't Doom, for instance, but it was solid and not broken, so it was kind of forgivable, if you know what I mean. Like it sort of still worked. You could game it a little bit, like hide around the corner and lead them towards your shot, and then hit them in the head. You'll be fine, and it was still okay. But backed up by neat stories and stuff like that. So, like in a way, I'd like they should be okay, but something doesn't quite resonate with them, and I don't know what that is. But yeah, Titanfall's great. You should play that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's me. And then obviously it's Switch next week, so look forward to Zelda for a long time, I expect. Cool. Zeg, what you've been playing?
Oh, did we? Sorry, sort of news and thinking about FPS games.
Okay.
Did we sort of mention that the current scuttlebutt is that they're not making another Deus Ex?
Oh, right. But that makes sense to me. I don't think the last one was a big hit.
No.
And they've got other licenses to...
Even if they do make another one, it should in no way be related to those last two, ideally.
Yeah, because was it Crystal Dynamics is working on the new a Marvel game of some description?
Yeah. It wasn't them, though. Who was it? Ubisoft Montreal are the guys, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. No, they're working on something else as well.
Yeah, it'd be something else. I think that's fine. It'd be... take a break or whatever. I mean, I don't know what to do
Montreal
about
are working on the next. Maybe Montreal are working on the next Tomb Raider. Actually, if Crystal Dynamics are working on the Marvel game,
yeah, maybe that's it.
Someone's got to be working on that Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, as it's called.
I mean, I don't know what to do about Deus Ex. Because, like, if you want to really, really make a game that truly lives up to the original and goes beyond in terms of like the player freedom and stuff they were working on and stuff, or trying to get to with their limited technology, you've got to give it to one of the best like developers in the world or something to actually truly. I don't know. So anyway, I'm fine.
You could remaster the original.
No,
like or maybe not remaster, but sort of do a retake on it, sort of like, I don't know, like FF7 remake in a way. Like actually, like take its ideas, its concepts, its plot and stuff like that, but update all its mechanics.
Well, I think some of it,
so it's less clunky.
Well, I think some of its plot and stuff is actually quite cheesy and would be shown up by that. Like some of the conspiracy stuff. I think you would have to like. I think it worked really great for the time.
There's too much of an of its time thing about it. Then
I think it kind of is, yeah, in terms of the tech and also the kind of. But I mean, I definitely think that. I mean, we've gone over this for the Deus Ex, but I definitely think that the making it having one central theme of like human modification was kind of streamlining it was a mistake for me, and that the original Deus Ex had many different themes and didn't have a central really have a central theme like that. It had
In
so
the
many
original,
different
it was
themes.
just like.
But yet somehow still had a driving plot.
Well, in the original, it was just like basically a whole bunch of conspiracies, and you had to find out what the one thing that was under the wall was.
Exactly. Whereas, you don't have that in these modern ones or whatever.
No.
But it's like the whole world was based on and they doubled down on it for the sequel, right? The whole world is based on human versus augmented human tension or whatever, and that was just one part of what was in the original Deus Ex. There was like the grey death nano machine plague.
It was basically it was pretty much almost irrelevant to the first Deus Ex.
It was just a side
all
thing.
All the other conspiracies were way more important.
Yeah, exactly, and that was cool. Like Roswell aliens and all kinds of everything. Just the Illuminati. They just shoved everything in there and made it like work all together with one grand conspiracy at the end that you find out or whatever, and it was really cool. God damn it. Anyway, never mind.
I don't even remember what the actual story of the
it's Bob Page, isn't it?
Was. No, not that one.
Right.
Or what?
The new
not
one.
Mankind Divided, whatever the one. Human Revolution, wasn't it?
Well, there was an event, wasn't there, at the end? Spoilers.
Well, I remember the end, but I don't remember what the linkage is that leads to this point. What missions were you actually going on? What were you doing when you were going around stealthily killing people?
Well, you work for one of the augmenting companies, right? And then you discovered a conspiracy within that company, right? Or at least there was one, because you're at the start of the game, your company gets attacked, right? Yeah. And then you find out
that they were stealing a thing.
Yeah, and it turns out to be a conspiracy, right? Or whatever.
Does it?
Doesn't it? I think it does, doesn't it? Like, isn't David Saraf in on it or something? Or I can't remember what the plot was.
I remember there was the bit in the middle where, like, the virus or whatever gets out and everyone's augmentations go out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I don't remember why that happened either, really.
Because there was that stupid bit where you could opt to get your augmentations quote-unquote upgraded, and then that was just installing, like, a backdoor into yourself so you could get screwed over in a boss fight.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny. But yeah, I can't really remember. I mean, the main thing people say about that game is it had really good ceilings.
Okay.
Like, genuinely. Google, like, ceilings in those Deus Ex games. I mean, like, the environments are pretty cool in terms of the art they've done. Ceilings.
Okay.
Well, it's because you had third-person cameras. You had to have like sweeping views and spiraling around, so they couldn't get away with the environments not being good in all directions.
I guess.
Literally,
most games though.
Just Google Deus Ex ceilings and check out some funky-looking ceilings.
Damn, that's some sweet artex.
What about the floor? What about carpet textures? That's the hard thing.
Yeah. I don't think they did so well with the carpets. Anyway, where were we? Zeg, what have you been playing?
Yeah. Well, I've been playing the same 3 things, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be quick then.
Yep, pretty much. I played some more Gungeon. I had to Rob a video of the rad gun.
The rad gun.
Because it was rad.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Whack.
Yeah, whack. It's definitely whack. And you fuck it up. I still haven't beaten the last boss. In fact, I still haven't actually got to that boss again yet. I've got the bullet hell several times and just died repeatedly. I haven't found any decent strategies or excessively powered guns except for the rad gun, but that run didn't succeed. And I seem to just have got real bad at like avoiding certain bosses again suddenly. I don't know what I think I'm going to blame it on my controller basically, because my Xbox controller is definitely, the stick drift is getting worse, and I think both of them are now have drift, and it's only noticeable in the Gungeon because there's no like dead zoning, so you can always see it. Where like when I'm not touching the sticks, you'll drift slightly to the left, and the reticle will be on one side of the screen all the time, even though you're not actually aiming. But like, that's probably not actually having an effect. That's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to blame it all on that. That's why I bought a new Xbox controller. That's why I was on Amazon.
You still get? Did you buy another 360 controller?
Yep.
Okay.
liked when I went to the store page. This can't have been here the last time because otherwise I would have mentioned it last time. But like one of the bullet points on the product description for the Xbox 360 controller was talking about the wire, and it was like all the convenience of wireless in a wire. And it's like what? It was like the wire's so flexible you won't even know it's there. Like that's just the most ridiculous bullet point you could possibly come up with.
That's excellent. I like that. Damn, man, these ceilings are hot. There's some. They all look good.
You checking out the ceilings? Yeah, they're pretty good ceilings.
I'd quite like a ceiling like this in my house.
If only this kind of story and everything was as good as the art direction.
Black and gold. So yeah, Gungeon still happening. I still haven't even seen a hint of where the other unlockable character is. Still,
right?
I feel like I'm like getting towards finishing all the like obvious secrets. I got the achievement for getting all the NPCs in the breach, so that like everyone that I could have found in the Gungeon through various means, they're all there. The last one I got was the like lost adventurer who wants you to map the floors, even though the floors change all the time, which is why he's lost.
Mm.
And when he goes into the breach, he's basically a hint to where the secret levels are. He tells you about the fireplace and the switch and all that stuff.
Okay, right. So
if you hadn't worked it out by then, I guess he's there to tell you.
Yeah. So what if you were playing as him? You mean?
No, he's like an NPC character, so you can just if you complete his side objective of mapping the floors on every floor, then that's when he goes back to the breach, and then you can talk to him there, and he just hints about the secrets. So yeah, still playing Gungeon. Still haven't like got all the guns or anything. There's still like several that I still have to. Well, more than several that I still have to buy out of the shop. As in, I have to keep doing runs to earn credits to enable them to appear.
Oh, right. You mean the green currency?
Yeah,
like
the green currency.
Yeah.
I think the last one I unlocked was the bullet bore, which is the cerebral bore, apart from for bullets.
Okay.
Does exactly what you expect. It fires out and then it drills into them and then it explodes and it stuns them while it's drilling.
Yeah, of course. They sit there for a bit going, wee.
It's convenient. It's not actually that convenient because you can only fire one.
Oh, right.
It's convenient if there's a really big enemy and there's only one of them.
Oh, because it's like the old Turok one, and then it's a bit of a super weapon.
Yeah.
And
You only get one shot per clip,
and
then you have to reload, and it takes forever. Well, I guess the reload isn't that long, but you're still only firing one. Although
it doesn't let you fire another one until the first one's done, or is it just the reload?
I don't know if it stops you, but I also it's like because it's automatically homing. It's like if there's more enemies, it may not go to the one that you actually want it to go to.
I see. Yeah.
I did have like the one time I got it in a run. I did have an ability which made it fire another one. So whenever I'd fire it, it would just fire two. That was an improvement. So yeah, bullet ball. And then I played like some more Rocket League. After a couple of, I think it might have been 2 podcasts ago, I was saying about how I was disappointed when I reached level 70 on the casual rank that it wasn't Rocketeer, even though every other 10 levels it had been a rank up. But now I have reached Rocketeer. Guess what level Rocketeer actually is?
71.
No, 74.
Okay.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know why. But yeah, I've done it. Although apparently that's not even max level because the bar's still going up. So
Fuel tanks are filled.
maybe 74 is like you get
Pushing away.
Rocketeer and then 75 is the top.
Got a steady flow.
That could be it, I guess.
It's like just
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to ignore that because that's something you should have been doing when we were talking about it about 2 hours ago.
It's called
Shut
a
up.
callback, you idiot.
It's not a callback because it was irrelevant to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's a Rocketeer.
These guys fuel tanks.
They're called Rocketeers, aren't they?
Are they?
Nunchuck
Yeah.
tools.
That
Are
was
they
the units were called Rocketeers.
But is that a reference to the film though?
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah,
is that a
maybe.
reference to the film?
I don't know.
Well, okay. But yeah, Been playing more of that.
You got that
Apparently
right, Rob? Anyway,
Yeah.
never mind.
Apparently there was some kind of bug with like ball collision physics that got patched out.
Oh, really?
And I was playing and I didn't notice it. So, it's one of those things where it's like, how do people notice this kind of bug?
Only the pros, right?
Yeah, I
Only
guess.
The pros.
And the Hot Wheels cars have, at least one of them has a fairly annoying engine. That's really the only thing that I ever noticed about DLC cars. It's like, oh, that one sounds weird as it's driving around in my vicinity.
Fine.
Yep.
Is there no new arena to go with the Hot Wheels cars? It's just
No,
cars.
it was clearly just like they didn't want to do that much work, I guess. They made this deal and they were like, it's only for cars. We're only going to we've got other things going on.
It sort of makes sense, actually. Like, if only ever there was going to be a Hot Wheels tie-in, this is probably the game for it.
Well, considering they've already had the DeLorean and the Batmobile. It's just like just random time. The next thing you know, we like Football Manager again, like Sonic. We're just like suddenly, or Team Fortress,
It's a good game. Weirdly British guy in the middle of Sonic Racing Transformed.
Yeah, or Danica Patrick, of course.
God.
So yeah, I guess they're working on.
Game with two arms.
Yeah, sure is. They must be working on.
Except in Rocket League, it's not.
No. Well, unless you go to overtime, I guess. Then it can be a game of two halves if they have to be lined up that long.
Time's really long, yeah.
I guess they must be working on the April patch that's going to be the start of Season 4. And I'm wondering whether that one's going to have a map.
Surely.
Well, you think so. And then I was thinking about what map is next. what map that's still in Rocket Labs, even though Rocket Labs doesn't technically exist any longer because that playlist got taken down. Like, what map in Rocket Labs might make it? Because they in the patch before they took out the Rocket Labs playlist, they reintroduced the double goal.
Oh, right.
The one with the triangular shaped goal with two goal mouths. So I wonder if that one's going to make it as a real map.
No, I really hope not. That's too insane. That's too far beyond.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I kind of hope the next one's just another normal one, right? Just another normal skin.
I guess it could be. It's been a while, I suppose.
Well,
really,
because the Undersea was the last, I suppose.
Yeah, because the only other, the least weird Rocket Labs map is the one that I always forget is called Cosmic, where it's like Tokyo, except the raised bits are at the goal instead of at the sides. So the goals are slightly raised, and then it goes down into the middle of the pitch, which is lower, and then the other goal is up at the other end.
No, interesting. Just a bit of a bowl, then.
Yeah, it's not as sharply angled as Tokyo. It's like more smooth.
Okay, right.
And it does lead to there's like a slightly unusual kickoff tactic in that one, where in a sort of a flip, sometimes the goalkeeper position is actually the fastest for kickoff because you drive off the ledge and then you flip forwards and you gain a lot more speed as you're diving down towards the ball.
Interesting.
Which is slightly strange. But yeah, that one could make it, I suppose. If they wanted to do another lab set.
Cosmic.
Yep, Cosmic. Never remember that's what it's called because it's clearly a reference to the previous game. Not like the other game ones where it's just called 2 goals and pillars.
Yeah. Cosmic Q.
So that, and then I played a bunch of Factorio still, continuing to make problems for myself as I kind of do.
Playing that game.
It's because of the mods, man. Lots of new shit, and new shit that theoretically takes quite a long time. Although this is the thing that I've been thinking about with it is that I create problems for myself because I want to. Because I want to be efficient. Where it's just like, so this mod, several of the most recent mods I've played, really, any of these more complicated mods, most of them have something like this, where they introduce a bunch of new resources and new processes, but because balancing is hard, and because of the slightly awkward way that Factorio deals with like determinism and everything has to exist as a physical object and stuff, I guess, like a lot of these mod recipes for stuff, like it's too difficult to have to contain everything at all times, so they basically introduce ways to destroy stuff So, like, if you're breaking down water into hydrogen and oxygen, but you only need the oxygen, what are you going to do with all this hydrogen? And in in basic Factorio, there's no real way to deal with excess. The way you deal with, like, when you're doing in the base game Factorio, when you're dealing with oil products in the early stages of oil refining, when you're dealing with oil products early in refining, you don't really have any use for heavy oil and light oil. You're only worried about the gas. So you just stick them in a...
As you should be.
You only stick them in a tank. But then if the tank gets full, well, what do? You either build more tanks or you just destroy the tank and rebuild it, and then it's empty. And it just deletes all the liquid that was in it. So, like, these mods that now introduce all these other chemicals and stuff also introduce, say, in this one, you've got, like, the flare stack, where you can just burn excess chemicals. Or the clarifier, where you can just get rid of excess liquids. And it's like, that's sort of okay. It's fairly logical, I suppose, apart from, like, I'm not exactly sure how you're burning some of these chemicals. What's the definition of burning? It should just be a vent, really, I guess. And, like, that's fine, but I kind of don't want to use that as much, like, or I want to avoid using it as much as possible. A, because it's like, you're wasting these resources. It's like, surely you can find a way to use them instead. And it makes everything more complicated, but you can. But then also, it's just a matter of, like, because of the balance of it, it feels cheap to just vent it. Mainly because, like, the only way they can penalise you for that is basically pollution. Like, the flare stack makes pollution when it's venting.
Which in turn gets the aliens' attention.
Yeah, makes the aliens more aggressive and makes them evolve faster. But it's not very much pollution. It's like, it's and also it doesn't configure the pollution based on, like, what you're venting or anything. It's just generic. Like, the building has a level of pollution it makes when it's operating, and it doesn't care what it's operating on. And it's really low, or at least I think it's really low. So it feels like it's a bit of a cheap way to deal with excess chemicals, basically. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. And then that just makes everything more complicated. But, you know, that's kind of the point. You want to invent ingenious solutions to problems. But at a certain point, you're just like, I really don't have anything to do with this hydrogen. Because in this mod, there's, like, only one recipe that uses hydrogen, and I've already got enough. Or whatever. So you just vent it. And you feel bad. Yeah. Poor hydrogen. Although really,
the US has got enough of it.
Like, sometimes you can do. I mean, obviously it's a matter of balance of the mod in general, the recipe balance. But when you're breaking down water into hydrogen and oxygen, it's just like the basis. Well, this is a mod of the mod fit situation. But when you're breaking down water into hydrogen and oxygen, you should get 2 hydrogens per oxygen, obviously.
Sure,
because that's chemistry. But then
that's chemistry.
But then in the mod of the mod, they changed that recipe, and you don't get the correct proportion, and it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And also, it's unbalanced to all the other recipes that use hydrogen and oxygen, except it's not really, because it's balanced towards. I think the way it's balanced is like they, totaled up the number of resources that you could use if you were making everything, and then like divided it by how many inputs or whatever. They're balancing for if you were using this in every conceivable way you could be,
right?
Then it would be in proportion to how much you were making if you were making everything.
Then it should just work.
Yeah, rather than actual chemistry. But then that becomes a problem because you can break down dirty water into hydrogen and oxygen and like slag gets left over, and then you can process the slag. But then you can also
process the slag.
You can also combine hydrogen and oxygen back into purified water. So if you want to, you can purify water by separating it into hydrogen and oxygen and then putting them back together, and then having slag left over in 2 separate batteries, which is slightly excessive.
Desalination type. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because there is just a desalination plant, and you can get purified water out of that instead.
Yeah.
But then if you do it through the electrolyzers and split it and recombine it, the output of the splitting is not the same as the input of the combining. Like, the proportions are different. So you always end up with excess hydrogen.
Weird.
And it's like, that's not how chemistry works.
You got leaky pipe, that's what it is.
But if
I
it
guess.
did, there'd be an infinite source of energy. That'd be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it depends how
So-
much energy it takes to. If you could burn the hydrogen that mysteriously appears, and that.
Well, but
actually
then you
powers
use up
the
all the oxygen in the atmosphere. Oh,
separation.
no.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
Although
the trouble with infinite resources.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's enough.
Sell it to the fuel cell industry. I'm sure they'll be happy.
Well, that's what I mean. If you're burning hydrogen, you're combining it with oxygen. You remove the. If you're making hydrogen out of nothing, then you've also got to make oxygen out of nothing, or otherwise you end up removing all the oxygen out of the atmosphere and turning it into water. And then you're fucked. Oh no. So yeah, still playing that. Still waiting
Okay.
for the actual patch, which might come out sometime next month. Maybe. No. That's what they say. And it looks like, they must be pretty close. Because they've introduced all this. They've introduced a whole lot of stuff that's not out yet. And it's going to even look better because they're doing an up-res on some of the graphics.
Oh wow.
Or in the process of up-resing all the graphics, I guess. They're not just going to do half of them and say fuck it.
They might.
No, they're going for release. They're going to actually make a 1.0 version. Yep, for reals.
Yeah, it means you're going to have to find another early access game to nominate for the best game that hasn't come out yet.
I guess.
Just one.
Well, there's
Well,
still,
admittedly, I've got like one early access game. I can play that and nominate it. There you
there's
go.
still Space Engineers.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be in early access for a lot longer.
That's
even though that did come out on consoles and all
You know,
that ridiculous shit.
No, I've got a couple. I've got like Besiege and Grip. Are still early
Are
access.
they still even working on Besiege? It seems
Yeah.
like that
No, that's
hasn't
still,
gone anywhere for a long time.
it occasionally gets an update. Yeah, they're just making more levels and making more parts, and
Well,
they did a complete graphics overhaul on all the parts
oh, okay.
at one point. So it's
That's what Space Engineers has done recently as well.
Mm.
Their complete graphic. I haven't been back into Space Engineers since that happened. Still waiting for actual fixes, not just fancy graphics.
Mm.
Same situation as always with that kind of patch. It's like, it's nice, but there's these bugs about
the
it.
thing.
Guys.
After our early look at Besiege, it's like I'm wondering, is like, do we go back to it when this eventually comes out?
Well, that would certainly be a thing we could do
Yeah,
if we were feeling too lazy to think of a better idea to make a video of.
that's what this Steam A to Z is for. In fairness,
Yep.
that's why we played it in the first place.
Yep. Well, we might have done that one on its own.
Maybe
It was
it
fairly
was quite funny,
popular at the time.
and it was quite funny.
Yeah.
Games.
Speaking of Steam A to Z,
Mhm.
I looked at my Steam list because we were thinking about what comes after Crazy Taxi.
Crypt the Necrodancer.
That might be the case, or I looked at my Steam list and realised that that game that I bought at Christmas is on there, Creeper World 3.
Oh hell,
If we wanted to do a video of that, we don't have to.
maybe it's
And it might be a real short one,
yeah, maybe it's an option.
but that's what's
it's,
next.
it's technically next, so
Yeah,
maybe
that-
we have to.
Technically, what's next. We'll see.
Yeah, all right, I'll leave that to you.
And then we might finally get to. Well, no, I guess I was about to say. Then we might finally get to Dungeon of the Endless, except that's DU, so that's still quite a long way to D.
Yeah, most of the way through the D's. Through the D's. So video content to come.
Yep,
A long time, like 6 months from now.
that was my theoretical segue into the end of this podcast.
Yeah, videos are coming.
So-
Crazy Taxi is going up soon.
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
Next is Crazy
Next
Taxi
video.
recorded.
Yes.
The next video is part 11 of Sonic Heroes.
So yeah, check out our YouTube
Say
channel,
woo
listeners.
to that.
Happy Salad for more Sonic Heroes. Part 11, did you say?
Yeah.
Part too
Speaking of our
many.
YouTube
Part way too
channel.
many.
We decided to completely play through this entire game for some reason.
Because we have to. We have to see it. We hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, it's the start of the Team Chaotix story. So
Yes.
yeah,
Speaking of our YouTube channel, and related to things that we talked about our YouTube channel previously on the podcast, I
Yeah.
noticed that in my YouTube recommendations where our channel appears, because I watch our own shit,
of course you do.
of course.
You're the quality control.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not good at it.
I watch
I tell
it.
Rob when he's left in swishes and stuff.
Yeah. It's like I accidentally.
I don't watch all the Sonic stuff because I can't bear it. But
No,
I do watch it.
neither can I, in fairness, and I'm playing the thing.
Well, sometimes
But,
you're playing the thing.
Yeah.
But
But I
individual
noticed-
stuff like Crazy Taxi, I love that shit.
I
My
noticed
brother is
that-
waiting for part 2 of Collision Software as well.
No.
He's like, where's part 2?
I haven't actually started editing that.
Anyway, yeah.
I noticed that in the recommended list on my YouTube login, where it's showing our channel, the FTL videos are in there again because of Dan watching it.
Right.
That's the YouTube algorithm working there.
Yeah, that
It's
was
like,
me.
you know, Dan, you might like this thing that Dan is
Well, it's like
watching.
it's not
so-
even picking up because I know Dan. It's picking up because
Someone
someone watched
watched it.
the whole film of those videos
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
recently on our channel.
The minute count, I suppose, would be higher than most. Maybe if Dan's watched the entire thing.
It's a
That's quite
solid
funny.
YouTube algorithm that worked that is.
Yeah.
Seems to be working perfectly.
I guess so.
It seems exactly right.
Seems to be giving us 5 views per video,
Woohoo!
3 of which are us in most cases.
High quality.
Yep.
Yeah, so
quality output.
enjoy those videos, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Please.
Please
For
do.
another Saladcast, by which point we might have some Switch impressions. So
We might have something different to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So-
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm
Should be
hyped.
excited. You're not going to get it.
No, but I still want to. Like, I want to hear.
You're going to continue to play Assassin's Creed, apparently.
Well, yeah, but it's a new console. I'm always excited about new consoles. And,
Super hype.
and the word about it.
So catch you then, listeners. And that's the end of this podcast.
Yeah,
Bye.
sure is.
Goodbye. That's chemistry.
Yeah, that sure is.